his sort of midriff area. End of a very good over again. Just the 4 runs off it and the wicket of the South African captain. South Africa 23 for 3 after 4 overs. Bangladesh will be cock-a-hoop.
Yeah, they will indeed. They will indeed. And yeah, it does twist, but look how much it nips as well. If it was playing on the line, that it wouldn't have moved. It just held its line and went straight on to hit the stumps.
Well, Taskin Ahmed is a feisty customer. He really likes to get into the opposition's mind. He'll not be shy of saying a few things as well. And saying a few things reminds me often, if languages are so different as Bengali and Afrikaans, I suspect not too many people understand each other linguistically. Continuing with the 3rd over there, Tanzim pushed away on the offside by Stubbs. So Stubbs and Klaassen back in the kind of similar situation they were against Ireland, needing to just consolidate here before they can look to play their shots.
Yeah, they are indeed. And Stubbs has been the one that's done that so well for South Africa in the previous games. He's not scored the runs he would have liked. He's got a couple of, I think it was 30s. And then he was furious with himself in the previous game and the one before when he got out, because he'd done all the hard work.
Tanzim away from us now, in bowls, played in the air, he's gone! That's the 4th South African wicket. Stubbs is the man out this time, playing off the back foot. The ball may have just held up a little bit, but you got to give credit to the men in green and red. Bangladesh have sliced through the top order of South Africa's mighty batting like a hot knife through butter. 23 for 4 in the 5th. All sorts of trouble here.
They are indeed. They are indeed. That one, it did just hold in the surface. Tristan Stubbs just punching the ball. It also lifts, so it's too paced. It holds, it lifts, so he ends up in a really awkward position. There's not much he could have done with it. The only way you can play a ball like that is then to fling your arms through it, but he didn't. He just pushed the ball straight to extra cover. And the man who's done the hard work for South Africa, he goes, and yet again, they find themselves in so much trouble here, South Africa. And
the senior statesman in the team is the one who takes the catch, diving forward low, Shakib Al Hassan. So 23 for 4 in 4.2 overs. And David Miller now coming out. And the difference is, the last time this situation was there, they knew where they had to get. This time, they've got to set a score.
Yeah,
and this Bangladesh batting lineup, they could get a few.
Well, they're probably used to playing on trickier wickets in South Africa as well, you know, when playing in Bangladesh. So
this is true.
Yeah, you have to get at least 110, because I think Bangladesh will back themselves to chase anything down.
118 is what you really wanted to say, didn't you?
Yeah, got to get 118. The score predictor reckons South Africa are going to get 145. I tell you now, there's no chance.
All right, we shall be together at the end of the inning. We'll figure out whether they get there.
There is no chance.
Yes, there are now 2 slips in place, as you'd expect, to the left-handed David Miller. Tanzim is in balls and Miller defends. Ooh, look at that. Aggression from Tanzim. Threatening to throw the ball back, just giving the batter a hard look. They are really charged up, Bangladesh. And why wouldn't you be 23 for 4? I know I'm repeating myself, but I just tell you that every time I've watched Bangladesh play, particularly in the early part of the game where the result is nowhere near a foregone conclusion, the fans lift this team like no one else. They're just unbelievably emotional. Comes in bowls, work to waste back to the square. There'll be a run to be had. He'll be off the mark, Miller, and they'll be happy with just a single. So Klaassen and Miller together now will look to do the rescue act, the rebuilding act, the rejuvenation act, whatever you want to call it.
Well, Miller was outstanding in the last game.
He was.
He ended up with 59 not out, but the way he took his time and his strike rate was, you know, way below his average throughout the innings. And then South Africa found themselves in a bit of trouble. He refused the single to make sure he was on strike and ended up getting 20 off the penultimate over to win South Africa the game.
Tanzim in again, bowls and defended by Stubbs. Up to Shanto, who's fielding at mid-off. And that is the end of the 5th over. 5 overs gone. Oh no, there's one more ball to go, I beg your pardon. Umpire having a word with Shanto. I'm not sure what that was. Maybe the throw was too close to the batter, you reckon?
Yeah, maybe. feels like that.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, the finger point.
Finger was out.
The finger came out.
Finger was out. You watch out, young man, or something to that effect. Tanzim is in, bowls, and it's pushed away defensively on the offside. Shanto this time comes and thinks about to throw, and then just realizes the umpire is not happy with me, and he chooses not to throw. 5 eventful, magnificent overs have been bowled, more from Alex Hartley, and I know that Dan Norcross will take this to the next level in more ways than one.
Of course he will. Of course he will. Well, what a start for Bangladesh. I think they've bowled absolutely exceptionally. They've used the surface, something that we haven't seen. You know, I think teams yesterday, India up the top, Pakistan up the top, could have used the surface slightly better. Bangladesh have nailed it. Back of a length, we know it's two pace, we know it's going to do a little bit. They have nailed their lines and lengths on this wicket perfectly for me.
It's Groundhog Day, isn't it? Prakash Wakanka sits down, picks up 4 South African wickets and walks off. As easy as you like.
It's just like the other day.
It's exactly the same. Tanzim, by the way, extraordinary figures. 3 overs, 14 dot balls, 3 for 13.
It's not bad, that,
Hard
is it?
to do. Very, very tricky. David Miller on strike. Mustafiza, the fizz, the left arm. Mystery Seamer comes in with 1 slip in place. Miller comes forward in watchful, sturdy defence, pushes to short extra cover. There's no run. The atmosphere out there is absolutely berserk.
Have you been out?
Yes, I have.
Oh, how good. How did you get out? Got down one?
No, I went all the way to the bottom, and I just finagled, and I just stood there, and then a wicket fell, and it was moderately scary. There was a huge roar. Everyone jumped up. The stand started shaking. It was fantastic.
I'm guessing you didn't go up to the
No. My vertigo did not allow that. Mustafiza in, forward comes Miller. There's a muted appeal, inside edge onto pad, rolls back down the wicket to the bowler. There's no run.
You just feel for the next 5 overs things are really going to calm down out there with Miller and Klassen.
Yeah.
Although Klassen on a pitch like this, he's not great. He's a bully, isn't he? A flat track bully. And he's unreal at what he does. You know, he's one of the best in the world. I just feel like on a sticky wicket, it's like a mini trying to pull a caravan.
It's very good. Mustafiza is in. This flashed away, a thick inside edge, and attempt to cut. Gets the inside edge and rolls down to short fine. And there's a single added to the total. It's all happening out there, and it is enormously good fun. There are many ways to skin the cricketing cat, aren't there, Alex Hartley? And one of them is those wonderful pitches in the IPL where the ball was sailing over the boundary to all parts. 25 for 4 is quite fun as well, though, you know. With a crowd of absolutely berserk Bangladeshis giving it a lot.
Yeah.
We've got South Africans as well, we should point out. There are some. They're mostly congregated away to our left, and then the stands to our right are just a sea of green and red. At least I think it's red. I'm colourblind, and I'm red-green colourblind, but I'm reliably informed there's red in there. Mustafiza is around the wicket, pushed into the offside by Klassen, fielded at backward point. Rishad Hossain, there is no run. It's a beautiful day. There are some wispy clouds high in the sky, a lot of blue sky. We should get a full day in today, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, we got a full day in yesterday.
Yeah, we had a bit of dreary murk to start, didn't we? Because they basically used up all the time they possibly could yesterday with the extra hour and a half. That was all used up by rain. And then they used up even more with physios and broken pads.
Yeah, it ended up being a long day, but it was a good game.
Started at 10:30, ended about 4:15, I think.
Well, by the time I'd done no balls and things, it ended up being about 7.
Yeah, you were back late, weren't you? But I finally did my washing, much to the delight of my colleagues. Mustafiza comes over the wicket now, changing angle every other ball. Short ball is just pushed into the offside by Klassen, and he gets up on his toes, and it's a very unfamiliar position for him here. No run off that.
Would you rather have 200 plays 200 in every single game of cricket that you're ever gonna watch again, or for eternity all games are played here in New York?
It's a very good question. I've grown rather fond of New York. And I've grown rather fond of these games because I get up for a wicket. I like it when it's tight. I don't know about the spectacle for others. Perhaps Mustafiza in, worked back up the pitch off the front foot by Klaassen. Another parsimonious over, just the 1 run off it. That is the power play, done and dusted. 25 for 4 off 6 overs does not give you the full flavour, because I think I'm right in saying that South Africa was 17 for 1 of 8 balls.
Yeah, it seems
so
like there was.
They scored 8
like
for
that.
3 in the remaining 4.4 overs.
Yeah.
It's absolutely berserk. Quinton de Kock, the only man so far to time the ball, hit a couple of towering 6s into the crowd and a 4 before getting bowled. The timbers have been shivered. I did think, I have to say, that Aidan Markram's shot was somewhat ordinary. That was a pretty straight ball. I don't think we can blame the pitch. Oh, moved a bit.
It held its line. We're talking about lowest scores again.
Yes.
Because we're in New York.
Yeah.
South Africa's lowest T20 total is 87 against India in 2022.
Well, it's possible. I mean, they're not going quite at that rate yet.
No.
Close to that rate, but not quite. And they've lost 4 wickets. And South Africa don't bat as deep as some teams. Marco Janssen's in next, and then went to the bowlers, Keshav Maharaj and co. Now then, bit of spin into the attack. It is going to be Rishad Hossain. Right arm over the wicket to the left hand. They're looking to turn the ball back into Miller. His leg breaks, it's pushed out into the offside. Fielded at short extra cover, there's no run. We've got a slip in place. That's been a common feature of matches here at New York. A backward point, short extra, deep cover. This now goes on the big old larrup out towards deep mid-wicket. 1 bounce, 2 bounces, and very nearly well stopped on the boundary. There were 2 fielders converging. 1 from deep mid-wicket, 1 from long on. And in the end, couldn't quite haul it back in, couldn't the fielder? And it's 4, much needed boundary for David Miller. It was a loopy delivery, enough flight, and it was full enough for him to chance his arm.
It's always a bit of a change in momentum when the spinners come on at this ground. It's slightly easier against the spin, but if you bowl quick and across, a bit like the Axar Patel bowl, right across the left-handers, that works really nicely.
Next delivery is full, work back towards the bowler, who's nimble, moving to his left to field. There's no run. Rishad Hossain, let's say a leggy, trying to get that ball to turn back into the pads of Miller, maybe get the leading edge as well. He's got the slip in place for the googly, one that goes across.
So he's bowling quickly as well, but mixing up his pace nicely. 93 kilometres to 82.
Comes in with a little jaunty skip. It's worked into the onside. That one did come back into the pads, and Miller just gets the single as he works it off the front foot to deep square leg. 30 for 4, the score. South Africa having elected to bat. No one to blame but themselves here.
It was when Markram got out and he looked at the pitch and threw his arms.
But honestly though,
what were you expecting?
I watched that ball on replay a couple of times. It's not a bad ball, it's straight, and it does come in slightly on the angle, and there may have been a bit of nibble, but he was beaten on the outside edge, not the inside edge.
Trying to knock the ball into the leg side.
Yeah. It was curious moment. Right, Rishad waits. Had 1 false start, he's in this time. That's short outside the off stump, but it just nibbles away, it spins away.
Oh, that's turned. I think we've just seen turn for the first time here.
Yeah, Klaassen is, yes, he's got things to worry about here. He's stuck on the crease and it's turned appreciably past his outside edge. Slip will get interested. Rishad in, and that again just turns slightly, but gets good bat on it and he'll get a single as he punches it into the offside. A little bit of a misfield perhaps by Tamim. Short extra allows him to get through for 1. 31 for 4. Alex Hartley's having a well-earned break. And we welcome Liam Plunkett on commentary for the first time today. Itching to get his thoughts on this surface. Getting to watch it live for the first time. We've had a very dramatic start, but regular listeners to us will know that Prakash gets all the drama at the beginning, and then I come on and mop up the middle overs. So Liam, what have you made of what you've seen so far?
Well, welcome to Cricket in USA, I guess. It's the stadium's beautiful. Obviously, it'd be great to see a bit better wicket. That's been spoken about, but for me, being from just down the road, it's excellent to be here and see the growth of cricket here.
The crowds are incredible, aren't they? I mean, the noise that they're making.
so passionate. I mean, Bangladesh have got followers around the world, and they definitely show out and come to watch the game, and the cheers, you know, whenever there's a wicket or a boundary, it's ecstatic.
Mustafiza comes in for his second over, left arm round the wicket, still got a slip in place. This is driven firmly back to the bowler, he gets a good hand on it, denying Klaassen a run. Ball's just deflected to short mid-off.
This is where you turn up usually to watch Miller and Klaassen, through the best in the business, hit the ball out the park, but it feels like singles and like gold dust here.
And it's a big challenge, isn't it, for someone like Klaassen, who's used to, you know, feeding bat on ball, and he wants to do that, but he also knows that if he gets out, Marco Janssen's in next, way earlier than they want Janssen. He's a capable batter, but you don't want him in the 8th over.
No, that's right. He's such a good player, and it'd be to see if he adapts his game here.
Mustafiza now coming over the wicket. And Klaassen drives and misses. A ball in the channel. Sends the crowd wild. The Fizz is operating. Let's see if he does 2 balls from the same angle. So far he's almost like in a kind of slightly village way. I used to have a bowler who used to do this, who just used routinely to go over round. Really annoying if you went to a ground with a very heavy sight screen. Yeah,
he's such a clever bowler. He's played around the world, played in franchises, and he's very skillful. With his skills on this wicket, it's obviously a lot harder to score. He's great to watch.
Here is the Fizz. Klaassen drives firmly through mid-on. That's going to run away for 4. That is a great shot. Just a little too full perhaps, but he got his arms right through that ball and sent it along the ground. And I tell you, there was no doubt of it hitting the boundary board. And you'll know from listening to matches here that had to be hit very firmly.
Yeah, I mean, the bowler's got to be frustrated with that. It's not a great delivery, especially on this wicket. If you can stick to line and length and obviously vary your pace, but if you're going to miss a play like this, it's going to put you away. And as you said, he hits the ball very cleanly.
35 for 4. Klaassen's first boundary goes to 5. Miller at the other end with him. Here is Mustafiza. A little skip in his movement there from Klaassen. In the end, he just defends a slightly shorter ball back to the bowler. And no run. What is it that the Fizz is doing? I mean, I sort of describe him as a mystery seamer, which is me covering up my ignorance, frankly, as to what it is that he's doing.
Yeah, I think he just obviously plays around. Sometimes he'll show the batsman that he's going to move his fingers around. He doesn't actually just bowls the same ball. But then he overspin, his cutters, he gets that good overspin, that good turn that a lot of seamers don't get.
Here is Mustafiza. Klaassen drives a full wide ball, but it comes off a thick outside edge down towards deep third. They'll come through for a single, bringing the left-hander Miller on strike. 36 for 4.
I noticed when he first came onto the scene, he was hard to pick up. He was very successful early on the Fizz, and then people got to know what deliveries he was bowling, and then he struggled for a little bit, but he came back and he's obviously performs well. He's very reliable now, and as I said, he plays around in the best franchise in the world and is successful, so he's clever, he knows what he's doing.
You've got to be adaptable in the modern game. I'm sure you always did, but you know, you hear tales of old bowlers like Alec Bedser who can never quite understand why you don't just bowl exactly the same ball time and time again. I mean, Glenn McGrath talks of cricket being a little bit like that in his time. As Mustafiza is in, this is defended well, turning the bat slightly as well, getting a single down to long leg. Miller moves to 8, 37 for 4. And you know, that's the biggest change in my lifetime, that Glenn McGrath used to bang out a length, and he'd tell me, you know, well, I was just, you know, I didn't quite know which way it was going to go, but a bit of natural variation, one would nip back, one would go the other way. Now, bowlers seem to have a plan for a whole over.
Yeah, they do. I mean, there's so much strategy goes into T20 and white ball cricket now, but I think Glenn McGrath, one of my heroes, I'm sure if he's playing now, he would adapt and be still one of the best bowlers in the world.
It's funny how many English fast bowlers have Glenn McGrath as their hero. I do a podcast with Stephen Finn, and he did acknowledge that he did have posters of Glenn McGrath on his wall, and when he met him, I've never seen Finney starstruck, but he was kind of starstruck by Glenn McGrath.
I mean, same. I remember when I played against him in the World Cup, and he took time out to speak to me, and for me, I was in awe. Such a legend of the game, and a great guy to go with it.
Shakib Al Hassan, the veteran left armer. I'd love to get the stat on how many of Bangladesh's T20s that they've ever had he's played in. Shakib is in. He's punched off the back foot, finding a gap between point and extra out towards the sweeper on the offside for a single. Miller moves to 9, 38 for 4. Because he's been around, along with Mahmudullah, and for a while Mushfiqur Rahim, and I suppose Tamim Iqbal, those 4 were there, and then Tamim's kind of drifted off.
Yeah.
There's no Mushfiqur here, but you've still got Mahmudullah and Shakib.
Shakib looks exactly the same.
He does, doesn't he?
changed.
Absolutely exactly the same. Soft, slightly elfin features. He's in, round the wicket. He's pushed off the back foot up towards long off, where Tawhid Ridoy will do the fielding. One more to the total, 39 for 4. We're just in a rebuilding phase here.
Yeah, we are. It'd be interesting to see how long they do this. If they're going to get a bad delivery, they'll both put it away. But obviously with Shakib, such an intelligent bowler, they'll probably watch what he's looking to do, trying to pick him off, hit his bad ball and go a little bit deep.
Shakib in over the wicket this time for left-handed Miller, who tries to turn it on the onside. Gets a bit of a leading edge. It rolls up towards short extra cover. And Najmul Hossain Shanto does the fielding. There's no run. Here is Shakib once more. A bit flatter this time, flicked away into the onside, out towards deep mid-wicket. Miller will get a single, get into double figures. 40 for 4, so there's a partnership. Doesn't seem like a lot, 17 in 4.2 overs, but it's rebuilding. And you know, Prakash will come on in the 11th over, and the whole game will go wild again. I don't know how he does it. He's made a pact somewhere with the cricketing gods. Shakib is in, round the wicket. Klassen goes back into his crease and punches past the right hand of short extra cover up towards long on for another single. The game's dampening down a little here, 41 for 4.
He's such a good player to watch. His footwork is amazing. When you see him in the IPL, the way he's able to get back, transfer that weight and put the ball into the stands, a bit like Joss does. You can see he wants to do that here, but the ball's not quite there. It's a bit sticky, so he's obviously managed to manipulate the strike, and as you said, these singles are so crucial in this game.
Shakib in, 3 in the ring on the offside, and a short fine leg comes over the wicket, and Miller just gets his past the right hand this time of short extra cover. They think of a second, they'll get one. The outfield's slow. Sweep has to run round to his left to field. 2 more, 43 for 4, and the absolute riches of 6 runs have come off that over. Klassen has 8, Miller has 12. But how difficult is it if you are 2 players? Less so Miller, because actually I think people misinterpret Miller as a big biffer. He's actually a constructor of innings, isn't he? But if you're Klassen, how hard is it to sort of rein in your naturally murderous intent?
I think he can do that. He does play spin really well. He's one of the best in the world now. He's obviously got the ability to change his gears. You can see that now, and sometimes he'll go back in IPL on a good wicket and hit the ball into the stand, where now he's going back, it's a bit harder to do that, so he's able to hit the gaps. And as you said, that last over, they managed to get 6 off it. Doesn't seem a lot in T20 cricket, but here in New York, that's a decent over.
Well, if you got 6s every over, you got to 120. We saw what happened yesterday when India played Pakistan. That was just enough to get them over the line. Now we got another change of bowler. So Rishad, I think, is switched ends, the leggy, and so Slip stays in place. Got a slip, backward point, short extra. That's your 4 with the slip. There's a long leg or deep backward square, deep mid wicket, long on, long off. First ball, new over, is a bit short, pushed into the offside. Klassen can't beat the fielder, goes straight to short extra, and we've got a deep point.
What does the ground, and does it resemble any other stadium to you in world cricket? Anything?
It's a good question. Well, I'll tell you what the stands resemble. This is flatter and beats the outside edge, through to the keeper. No run, no foot movement from Klassen, just got stuck on the crease. The stands just remind me so much of Old Trafford, the temporary stand, and it's like they're everywhere.
Yeah.
But actually, the hospitality boxes are reminding me of somewhere. This is driven high in the air, lofted a long way back. That's gone miles. That has gone over the sight screen. That is one of the biggest hits we've seen here, straight down the ground. And it's 6 for Heinrich Klassen, just erring in length, 2 full, and Klassen was straight onto it, 49 for 4.
He's so good at doing that. His hands are so high, and that's such an easy shot for him. And as you said, as a bowler on here, you've got to be so upset with yourself for missing that line of length. He just puts it away so easy, with ease.
Yeah.
For me, I'd have to swing from the rafters here, but he plays it so well. And the ball goes so far with that easy swing.
It's weird, isn't it? It's like such an economy of movement.
Yeah.
And when you're looking at it, you think, has that gone far enough? And it just keeps sailing further and further and further. Now they can have a look at the ball, because whenever the ball obviously hits a part of the infrastructure.
I think it's changed so much, because when I first started, when guys hit 6, it feels like they have to swing really hard, and now it's like they just time it so elegantly. beautiful shot.
Right, Richard's in again. This is flatter, and it's pulled out towards deep mid-wicket. Fielder can't get to it. It's gone over his head. I thought he was in business for a minute at deep mid-wicket. It's not gone miles into the crowd, but it's gone certainly far enough, and it's a big ground. The sort of sideways, I mean, dimensions-wise, it reminds me of Cardiff.
Yeah.
So quite short, straight.
Yeah.
Really quite a long distance the other way. But 2 sixes in consecutive balls. Problem was when Quinton de Kock hit a couple of sixes, he was then out. Can Klaassen just keep his head here? 55 for 4. Richard's in, he goes back into his crease and cuts into the offside. He'll just get the single. Sweeper tidies up. 56 for 4.
I think as a spin bowler, you know how good Klaassen is. Obviously, you've overpitched, he's hit you back over his head, and then you probably panic a little bit, brought it a little bit short, and he's still good at getting back. And that's so far it's a huge over, especially in this game. 13 off it, 6 off the last. Klaassen 21 now off 20. He's caught up. He's over a run of ball. He started very slowly, 1 off 9. He's had 13 off his last 3, so he was 8 off 17. Miller faces the last ball of the 10th over, and one that just pops on him slightly, and he dabs it to backward point. Shy at the stumps, misses. It's backed up by long off. That might have been quite tight. He put the dive in. 10 overs gone. We're halfway there. 57 for 4, and that represents riches actually for South Africa. They were 23 for 4 after that clatter of early wickets. Reza Hendricks getting out the first ball, duck, LBW. Quinton de Kock bowled. Markram bowled. It's been a dramatic start, but at the end of it all, they've actually got exactly the same number of runs as Pakistan had at the halfway stage yesterday. There's so many different ways of getting to 57, aren't there? That's right. It's been a bit of a mixed bag. Obviously, the way Quinton de Kock started, I love to watch him. Never enjoy bowling to him, but obviously the way he starts, he can change your game. So effortless as well. That pick up over leg side, it's such a beautiful shot. Some good deliveries. Obviously the wicket helped as well, but it's been an interesting first 10 overs.
And the pitch, how does it? I mean, you're seeing this now live for the first time. What's your sort of assessment of it?
The players are so good that generally if you miss your line and length, they can put you away. But if you stick to your line and length and you're using your mix-up as a seam, it feels very difficult. As you said, you've got to be so disciplined on this wicket because you know you can keep the batting team down to a low total. The guys are so good, as you've just seen that last over, Klaassen, if you miss by a tiny bit, he's going to put you under the pressure, put you into the stands. And on here, that's not a bad halfway score. If they go to get 125, 130, then the pressure is purely on Bangladesh.
They've also got South Africa 4 very good fast bowlers, and Bangladesh have traditionally not been quite as good, let's say, away from Bangladesh as they are at home. Everybody's got a bit of home advantage, of course, but the contrast is quite stark. So just give us an idea about how you think they might go on this, and then we're going to bring in Prakash Wakanka. There's drinks on the field, you're not missing anything. We're at the halfway stage, there's always drinks after 10. Prakash will come in, take 4 wickets and walk off, getting all the glory, and then I'll come back later and finish it off.
Yeah, obviously the South African attack, there's a lot of pace behind that. I think they'll find that uneven bounce, and it's going to be very difficult to play for the Bangladesh team. But they've also got some great players, and hopefully if they get through that initial period, which is going to be tough, they might be able to chase this down. But let's see, South Africa are a very good bowling attack.
They certainly are, aren't they, Liam? Drink still on the field, a bit of an extended break, I get the feeling. It is hot out there. There's a very good breeze, stiff breeze. Yesterday was even stiffer, running right to left as we look out at the ground. But it's been Bangladesh will be the happier of the two sides, you reckon?
Yeah, I think this is a crucial partnership. You know how good these guys are. If they can obviously bat another 5-6 overs, there's not too much coming after this. Jansen can bat and hit some good boundaries, but this is a crucial wicket, this one. Yeah.
We haven't seen much turn, and that's really where traditionally Bangladesh tend to then squeeze the opposition, don't they?
Yeah.
We haven't really seen much of that yet.
Obviously Shakib, I think Shakib's so good with his bowling. He mixes his pace up and gets a lot of people bowled in LBWs, but obviously they're so good at playing spin, these two. They can combat that.
And I think all the time that they've played out in the subcontinent certainly helps them. The IPL would have had its own role in helping them both. And we have a change in bowling. Mohammedullah Riyad coming into bowl from the northern end, the end that we're broadcasting from. I've had a theory, particularly after yesterday's game, it sort of fructified or clearer in my mind. I don't know if it got to do with the way the pitches have been rolled, given all the trouble they've given early on. 11th over or so onwards, you just see the ball doing a bit more. I suspect it's the roller effect.
You'd think so, yeah. I mean, for a normal international wicket, you want to see that being flat, but even the first 10 overs, when it's supposed to be at its best, it's still tricky to play. But yeah, I agree.
First ball, he beats him. The bails have been taken off, but he looks firmly, from what we can see here, the back foot is firmly in the crease, but certainly that ball from Mahmudullah just leaving the left-hander and beating Miller as he looked to shape to push on the offside. The expected 4 men in the ring in almost a 4-pointed star. Had some bat on it as well.
Yeah, it was a first, not a bad first delivery. Made him reach, got outside edge, but obviously a drop catch. And
Liton Das, the skipper, driven up the ground this one to a fuller delivery. Fielded out from long off. Shanto is the fielder. There is no run beyond the single that was very comfortably taken. So Liton Das there, just watching that replay. Yep, well, it wasn't an easy one, but good keepers might just pouch that. Never easy when you're there.
It'd be interesting to see how Klaassen plays this, because Mahmudullah, I'd probably target him normally in a game, but it's a little bit different on here, right?
Yep, the two deep fielders as you'd expect, long on, deep mid-wicket, and a man almost in between the two as well, or a forward, a square position. They're coming back for the second. They'll make it easily. See, this is a challenge with a guy like Klaassen on strike. On the boundary, you want to be right on the cushions, and yet you know that if you can play it with soft hands, more often than not you're going to get 2. We've seen about 4 threes yesterday, and that just gives you an indication.
See, in world cricket the guys are fit now, but South Africans are normally really good between the wickets, and as you said, you can use that deep field.
Strikes him in the pad, muted appeal, going down the leg side for sure. 60 for 4 now in the 11th over. I think the spinners are really going to come into their own when the tournament proper moves to the Caribbean. That's where you'll probably see spin effect. India, for example, haven't played both their wrist spinners at all so far. Here's Mahmudullah in. Driven on the offside, pick up 1 comfortably. 61 for 4.
Yeah, I totally agree. Why would you on these wickets? You don't need to do that, right? There's enough up and down, side to side on the wicket. You don't need to use all of your spinners.
I'm going to take the opportunity of being with you, Liam, and ask you this question, and we can answer that as the game progresses. When you're bowling an under pressure final over, I'll come back to that in a moment, as here's Mahmudullah and defended on the offside, no run. Let's say you're defending, pick a number, let's say you're defending 12 or 13, which is not a lot. What is going through your mind? Have you worked everything out with your skipper and said, this is what I'm going to do, 6 balls? Or do you want people to come and talk to you in the middle of the over? Do you want left alone to yourself? How would you approach it?
I think people do it differently. I think for me, you know your skills, you know what you can execute, and you try and take yourself from the big pressure moment and just, okay, I'm just bowling this 1 ball. That's kind of what I would do. As much as I love being in that pressure, the cooker, is I didn't often bowl that last over in a game.
Right.
There was people like Joff and people like that who did a lot better. But in terms of a crucial over, I try and ball by ball, what am I looking to do? You have your plan, you have your field with your captain, and just try and execute, try and keep calm in that moment.
Yep. The reason I asked that is because young Arshdeep Singh yesterday had the job to bowl that final over, and it's remarkable how much he's grown as a bowler. Taskin back into the attack from the far end bowls, and this one's just pushed away on the offside, backward a square. There is no run.
Yeah, obviously he's grown, he's developed a lot. He spent some time in the UK as well, and you grow as a person and more responsibility. And when you come to pressure situations like that, you've grown as that person, and he executed nicely. Here's
another one for you. Traditionally, India never did produce quick bowlers. I mean, the Kapil Devs and the Srinaths were like heralded as once in a blue moon kind of talent, and then suddenly there's been a factory almost of quick bowlers. Come back to that as Taskin runs into bowl from the far end, comes in and it's defended, but timed well enough, placed better for a single. 62 for 4. What do you think has happened when you look at it from the outside in?
I'm not sure. I think obviously with the IPL and a lot of people coming across from different countries of fast bowlers and passing on advice, but also in terms of, is it more like high performance and the strength and conditioning has played a massive part in that? I'm sure it's a number of things, but it's obviously great to see when you see in IPL that the young Indians coming through and they've got absolute gas. It's great to see that. Because often people, when it's spinning wickets, you turn to spin. You've got a lot of good spinners, but definitely a crop of some very good youth fast balls coming through.
Here's Taskin in again to Miller, beaten outside the off stump. Every time a keeper throws the ball back underhand and aims the stumps, there's only one thing that comes to mind: Lords and Alex Carey. It's just some things in cricket, isn't it? The incident just stays with you, and then every time something similar happens, your mind just goes back to that one thing. 62 for 4 here.
Yeah, I'm sure Johnny has nightmares still. I'm sure that's what he's doing.
The 12th over in progress. South Africa certainly have consolidated. Bangladesh desperately now, one thing's looking for a wicket here to try and break this partnership. Haskin is in bowls, gets up a little bit, rides the bounce, runs it down to third. They'll pick up a run. 63 for 4.
Like, how much are you mixing it up as a seamer here? It's like, are you happy with them getting singles, getting 6 and over, because that's a good over for the batters here? Or are you still looking to hit the top of the stumps? Are you then trying to mix up and bowl your cutters to get them extra dot balls? It's not really a big risk. You've practiced that as a bowler, but then you keep it down to potentially 4 and over. 6 and over seems like a good over for a batting team here.
Yep, there's something going on here. I think it's a conversation between Klaasen and Lytton Das, the Bangladesh skipper. The umpires had to intervene. I think it's about running into each other, or it's running and saying too much. I don't know what it is. I doubt if Lytton's, no disrespect to him, but Lytton's quality of English and Klaasen's may not necessarily be comprehensible to each other. Here's the next one. Square on the offside, gets a thickish outside edge. The ball goes on the bounce to backward point. There is no run. Stays 63 for 4. They're still at it, the two of them. Klaasen's talking to Lytton and he's almost walking back to where Lytton Das is. I wonder what's been said. Mind games. Miller's.
Feisty, yeah.
Hey?
I've played against Das a few times. He can be feisty a little bit. He likes to get in the battle. Maybe trying to get this little partnership, maybe unsettle it a little bit. You never know, right? This is starting to build, and we know how dangerous they can be at the back end. Maybe get in the head, maybe make them a little mistake.
It's not that often you see nowadays umpires being as animated as we're seeing the two of them there now, particularly Klaasen. Surely he's not going to let that affect his batting, though mind you, it does.
I think he's just taking his time now, trying to get that focus a little back, you know.
Couple of deep breaths.
Yep.
63 for 4. Klaasen on 25. Waits for Taskin. He's up, he bowls, and Klaasen plays it nicely. And they take a run, a bit of a misfield at where point would have been, running into his right from the fielder running in there. I think he might be one of the newer boys in this Bangladesh squad.
Seems Bangladesh's got a little bit quiet, even though it's 64 for 4. It feels like they just take the foot off the gas a tiny bit, and that's when good teams will capitalise on that. It feels like a massive difference when they're taking wickets.
I'm just intrigued by this conversation. It's now an extended one. There are two Bangladeshi players along with the skipper, who's walking away from the umpire. Yeah, you don't want anything untoward or unnecessary. The cricket's absorbing enough. The crowd realizing that something's going on. They're getting behind their captain as well. Rashad to continue, Rashad Hussain. And just having a look around the field. Of course, Klaasen and Lytton Das right next to each other, keeper and batter. Cut away nicely. There'll be runs here, maybe even 4 of them. Fielder gives chase. He will not win the race. Beautifully timed. On this outfield, every time the ball's really gone in, hit the boundary cushion, you know the batter's timed it beautifully, because it is a heavy outfield.
Yeah, it is. It is, but that's a great shot. He's timed that beautifully. He's a little bit of width, but he's managed to stay back, quick footwork, and then obviously put that ball to the boundary. It was a great shot.
He's such an incredible batter. When he's on song, next to no one really. Very hard to stop him. 68 for 4 now, South Africa. This one's pushed back up the field for a single. 69 for 4. In World Cups, keeper standing up and having a bit of a run-in with a batter. Mine goes back to Kiran More, and Javed Miadad, where Kiran behind the stumps was obviously getting into Javed's head, and finally it got to a point where Javed actually mimicked Kiran More with the bat in hand, squatting and doing squats in front of the umpire. It was a different era of cricket, mind you, at the time. Shed balls on the leg stump, worked away nicely. They're looking for the second, and they will go for it too and get it comfortably. So these two now really getting a move on. They're making it appear easy, and that's what you can do if you can just stem the rod, consolidate, don't try and go too hard. 48 this partnership now worth, or just off 49 balls, Liam. 71 for 4.
Yeah.
Rishad comes in again, bowls worked away finer this time for a single. Man at 45 runs in and field. That's the fizz, and that brings up the 49 now of the partnership. They got together at 23, I beg your pardon, my maths is all over the place. 72 for 4 in the 13th. This stage of the game is where things certainly started happening on this pitch yesterday for both India and Pakistan. Ooh, that one turned, a little bit of bounce. Looks to cut, beaten by the bounce. 72 for 4.
Hard in the field as well. It's like, do you want to creep up, but the batsman will see you and they hit it so well. But then you sit back, and then twos are so valuable here as well.
Absolutely. So I think there's a lot of thinking that even fielders have to do as they watch the progress of a batting partnership. That's a lovely ball. He's whipped the bails off Liton Das. I don't think there's too much excitement there, but good glove work. Very quick.
Yeah, obviously as a batter as well, the outfield's not quick. Same as a fielder, the ball's not coming to you that quick as well. So you've
got to make the pace, get to the ball.
Fully commit to it as a bowler. I'd rather someone run at it full pace with a chance of stopping that second. If they miss field, you know you're doing it for the better of the team. Yep,
absolutely. In the Netherlands South Africa game, that run out, which I referred to as a jaunty road-esque run out by Aiden Markram, running in from mid-off, really got to the ball quickly, and he was airborne as he hit the stumps to run out Scott Edwards, which I thought was a key moment in the game, because Scott Edwards is the kind of guy who would then shepherd the rest of that innings. Outstanding fielding, can always turn games. Seen it all the time, haven't we?
Definitely can. Especially in a moment like this when the momentum's kind of shifting a little bit.
It's almost decisively, you'd say, because Mustafa Zir now back into the attack. 2 overs, none for 7 for him in his first 2 overs. And he's got David Miller, who's on 18 of 22. Goes to Miller. Miller drives straight past, or attempted to pass the bowler, hits it smack in the middle stump at the non-striker's end. And thankfully, from a South African perspective, Fizz was nowhere near it. Klaassen, of course, backing up. That's one of the worst ways to get out, isn't it?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Horrible way to get out.
It's interesting, obviously, these guys building this partnership, and sometimes it's obviously hard for a new batter to come in, but even more so on this. It's a bit like the club cricket where it's hard to get started.
Mustafa Zir bowls short and sways away, does Miller. Lets it go through. Quick look at the square leg umpire, but I thought that was perfectly all right. 72 for 4. The fans have gone a little bit quiet. They need the tonic of a wicket here, and since Dan Norcross has said what he said, there's no way I'm getting another one. 72 for 4. 13.2 overs have been bowled. Sun just slips behind a wisp of cloud above us. It's a gorgeous setting, this stadium, really. I mean, if I had to pick bones about anything, it's just a long walk because of security, but other than that, it's brilliant. Fizz bowls, lucky to get away with that. That was back and wide as well, and Miller maybe not quite able to place it as well as he would have liked to. Finds the fielder there, Shanto, and there's no run.
I think the weather makes up for that walk. It's a nice bit of fresh air on the way here, you know?
Well, certainly a couple of days it's been very pleasant, but you know, I hope we don't have to, but we will have to walk back in the afternoon after the game, and then we'll talk again. 72 for 4. 14th over in progress here. Bangladesh versus South Africa. Early wobble for South Africa. They're now consolidating down the leg side. We come off the pad, and that's the 14th over in progress here. 72 for 4 from 23 for 4. And Klaassen 31, run a ball, 2 4s, 2 6s. David Miller more subdued, as he's now made his style. Even in the IPL, we've seen He's taken a little bit of time, settled down, and then played his big shots, which of course he's awesome at.
Yeah, I played with Div in Durham back in the day, and he was more come in and go from ball one. He's obviously matured a lot. He's a great player, but he does take his time. He can be so deadly at the back end, but he picks out your bad ball early on now as well and manipulates to strike.
50 of the partnership is up as well, and he waits on it this time, does Klaassen, cuts it down towards the backward point area. They'll take one. The partnership now 51 runs to the good, 74 for 4, and Bangladesh have to find a way to break this partnership, otherwise one suspects that with the kind of batting power they have even now in the shed, they will come back and really hurt them if they can't get a couple of quick wickets here. Mustafizur plagued by a little bit by injury, so he's become a lot less physier, if I may. Oh, this one's been lofted and hit very firmly, and this will go way back over wide long off. Oh, it's been caught, has it? Well, the replay will tell us, Liam, but if it has, it's a wonderful catch. Looks like yes. If we'll see the replay. She's just showing us the ball. Did she actually catch it? That's the question, but it's 6 runs to South Africa, 80 for 4 at the end of 14 overs, and now one gets the feeling that South Africa are in very, very much in control of the innings. They've gotten over that little wobble early on, and they're now in a position where I think they can aim to go and get a lot more runs. Wicket taking happens in pairs, they say, Alex, and maybe your arrival in the seat alongside me might just help Bangladesh.
The dream team are back together, aren't they?
Don't say that too loudly. We've got several tall and mean fast bowlers alongside in the other room. You've got Sean Pollock, you've got Dale Steyn, and I don't think I want to face up to them if they hear this and get upset.
Good job.
You'll get away because you are who you are, and I might have to bear the brunt. Mahmudullah is going to continue. He's bowled 1 over for 4 runs so far, but you do get the feeling that South Africa now have steadied the ship and are looking to power on. Worked away on the onside. They'll take 1 back with a square. 81 for 4. The partnership 58 it will be of 59 balls.
Yeah, they've done well, these two out in the middle, haven't they? As you say, built that partnership, and you just know that 120 is probably going to be enough when you look at their bowling attack. Oh,
the bowling attack's phenomenal, isn't it? I'm actually trying to learn how to say awesome the American way. I'm nowhere near it yet. As Mahmudullah bowls to Miller, Miller works it away, won't get a run. Shanto comes in and fields. 81 for 4. And because both of them have the ability to strike the ball, and we've seen 3 sixes in this partnership from between them, Mahmudullah bowls back of a length, it's punched up the ground. They'll take 1. Even though they had that phase of rebuilding to do, Alex, they were able to keep it to almost run a ball. In fact, right now they're at 59 of 61, and that is really helpful when you're rebuilding. Sometimes you go into a shell, your run rate drops, and then you got to leave too much to be done at the back end. Mahmudullah. Next ball of the 15th over. Bowled, and off the back foot it's eased away into the covers for a single by Klaassen. There will be 1 more to the total. 83 for 4 in the 15th. Partnership 60 now of 62. Yeah, they haven't been bogged down at all, really, these two, have they? And yes, they're both used to hitting boundaries and, you know, maybe going at 10 runs and over. But actually, between them, they've showed their maturity. And speaking of maturity, it's David Miller's 35th birthday today. Is that right?
Yeah, apparently so.
Well, happy birthday, David Miller, and all his fans, wherever if you're listening. Swept away nicely, rolls his wrists and hits it down towards the backward square for another run. 85. 84, is it? 84 for 4. Miller goes up to 26 with that single. The pace at which the scoreboard changes often gets me.
As in, because it changes so quick?
Sometimes, and sometimes it takes longer. Remember yesterday? A couple of times where I got ahead of it, and then I felt I'd made a mistake, and then it turned out to be all right. Last ball of the 15th. Mahmudullah bowls, and there's a better inside edge onto pad that kept a little bit low. If it hadn't, there might have been some problems for Klaassen. It wasn't. So 84 for 4. 15 overs gone. More from you, Alex, and happy to hand over to Dan Norcross without anything other than saying Dan Norcross is coming in for commentary.
Well, it was pretty uneventful for us two there, to be honest. But 5 overs remaining. If they can get 10 and over, they'll get 134, which will be plenty on this surface, you imagine.
It does feel like it, doesn't it? It started so dramatically, and these two have just taken the sting out of the game. Miller on 26, Klassen 33. That said, we have seen sides when they think they've got a springboard to attack, find it very hard so to do. And I saw yesterday India losing their last 7 wickets for 30. They were on 89 for 3.
Yeah, they were
18. After 11.2 and ended up 119 all out.
Yeah.
Start of a new over. First ball is down the leg side. He signalled wide and it's not well taken by the keeper. So they will get through for another run. Das, a little untied. It died on him a bit. 86 for 4.
It was that 81 at the halfway stages, you know, for me. And you go, wow, maybe they're the team that have figured out how to bat on this surface, and then, oh no.
I mean, is it getting... Yesterday, with the feature was that it got more difficult as the day progressed, or rather, as the innings progressed in each innings. Turns him in again. This is pulled into the onside, a ball on the hip. I'll get a single round to deep backward square, 87 for 4. Whereas we'd seen it go the other way round before, didn't we? Where it was really hard with a new ball, and then it got a little bit easier as the ball got soft, and then yesterday was a complete reverse. So I don't know what to expect today. Well,
from what I saw today, it was easier to play through the line of the new ball, but because it's doing a little bit, you've just got to pick the right shots. But it feels like it's got easier today as the ball's got older. But these two have settled in, and they haven't tried to play many expansive shots.
Now, I've been really impressed with the way Klassen has reined himself in. 2 4s, 2 6s, striking at 94. He stands in, worked into the onside, full ball round the pad. No run, goes straight to short mid wicket. So, you know, getting 50 off the last 5 overs is not going to be easy.
No, I don't think it'll happen either.
No. What can Bangladesh chase though? 110, 120?
Yeah, I think they'll back themselves with 110, 115, something like that. Even if you're chasing 120, we saw yesterday, it's only a run a ball.
Turns in short, pulled by Miller, and it's gone in completely the opposite direction really from where he intended. Squirted through short third, and they'll get a single. It's leg by signal, so it must have come off his body. I think it was through the shot a bit early, and it rolls away for another run. 88 for 4.
And we saw how Pakistan went about their run chase yesterday, chasing 120 to win. They actually did it perfectly, but there was too many dot balls in the second half of the game, and that was their downfall.
Yeah, and that ball, Bumrah bowled to Rizwan. Tanzim is over the wicket, the right-handed Klassen, who drives straight back down the ground. Fielder comes round from long on. It's only the single. Didn't hit it quite as firmly as it first appeared, and then slowed down on this outfield. 89 for 4. Yes, it's that shot. You sort of thought Bumrah on this wicket. Is it 16? Take it for 16. Just don't show any ambition at all. Just singles. Just defend. And they were in a fine position at that point. I mean, I think when Prakash came off, there was a point when they needed 40 or 37 balls with many wickets in hand. It was a bit of a joke, really. Hands him in. It's pushed up to mid-off. They'll run through for the single. Shy at the stumps. Does hit, but Miller was easily home. 89 for 4.
It's almost like they don't believe they can beat India in a World Cup.
Yeah, it's a bit like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
In front of a crowd. They've done it in front of no crowd in the Emirates in 2021. But once the crowd gets in, and it was predominantly India, there was a lot more blue than green. Today, well, both sides wear green, really, don't they? Although South African is tinged with yellow, Proteas. And this is a very green scene we've got out here today. A lot of fans in. Be interested to see the eventual figure. It feels over 20,000 at the moment. A bit bigger than that, perhaps. Tanzim into Klassen, who chops down on the ball and dribbles to backward point. And there is no run. End of the 16th over, 90 for 4. South Africa. This recovery now, partnership 67 in 11.4 overs. So not motoring, but going at just basically run a ball, 70 odd balls. And Tanzim's bowled out 3 for 18.
Not bad that,
So,
3 for 18.
not bad, is it?
Yeah, not bad, you'd take it. I'd take it any day of the week.
So who's going to bowl? We've got Taskin's got one more. Mustafiza's got one more. The leggy Rishad's been quite expensive, done for 28 in 3. Shakib Al Hassan, of course, has got 3 up his sleeve. Mahmudullah's bowled 2. So
They've got plenty of options, haven't they?
yeah, if it's going to be Mahmudullah who's going to bowl, I wonder if it's a Mahmudullah, Shakib, Taskin, Mustafiza.
Yeah.
You think? Feels that kind of way. Short third, short fine, point and extra. Those are the fielders inside the circle. We've got a deep square and a deep mid-wicket, a long on, and I imagine a cover sweeper. Can't see at the moment. Mahmudullah slapped into the offside, but it won't be short extra cover. There's no run.
It just shows that shot there with this pitch. Any day of the week that's being hit to deep cover for 1. But
Yeah.
instead, because the pitch is so slow, it's been hit to extra cover.
Here comes Mahmudullah. It's carved off the back foot to short extra cover again. He can't beat the fielder, Najmul Hossain Shanto. They're at short extra. 2 dots to start the over. Mahmudullah, he's been around forever, since it seems the dawn of Bangladeshi cricket. As has Shakib Al Hassan, the evergreen.
Oh, interesting field change.
Moved Shanto to point. There's a backward point and there's a short third. So 3 fielders quite close together, square of the wicket. It's driven through extra cover. That gap now vacated. They've run 1, they'll stick to just the 1. 91 for 4, first run in the over, 3 balls remain. Klassen on strike.
Very clever, because he's gone 2 dot balls and then changed the field and gone, all right, have an easy single down the ground. I've got a deep extra, a long off. It's going to have to be a good shot for you to be able to get that through there, and obviously on this surface that's quite tough, so just giving the single rather than the boundary.
Klassen, though, you fancy off spinner to right-handed Klassen with 3 balls left, and you feel he's going to go here. Long on and long off back. Here's Mahmudullah. Klassen goes straight down the ground, and it's gone for 6. Full in the slot, and Klassen with an economy of movement and a fair bit of elegance drives that up and over, long off for 6.
You just knew that was coming, didn't you?
I
just
really did,
knew
yeah.
that was coming. Got to pick your bowlers and pick your timing, and then it's time for these two to get going, really. But as you say, it was too full, that ball.
97 for 4. I fancy Klassen might go again. Mahmudullah into him, and he doesn't. He just taps it into the onside, but he might get 2 because he's played it very soft hands. They kind of come back for 2, and actually a very easy 2. Miller was ambling towards the end there. It just crept 10 yards outside the fielding circle, and yeah, you can see a bit better than me, Alex. Are they right on the line, or are they giving themselves 10 yards? Because the people who've played here before know to give yourself 10 yards.
They're right on the boundary.
Right. Yeah, so that intelligence hasn't filtered through. Mahmudullah into Klassen, who's now plays identical shot, may well get 2, goes to mid-wicket, but now this time the fielder is much quicker to the ball. Zaka Ali Anik, and they pick up just the 1. The 100's up. Praise be. That's 10 more kits. 10 more kits are delivered to grassroots cricket every time you get 100.
Should do it every 50, really.
On this ground, yeah. Yeah, or maybe 60. Because 200,
well, if you do
120
5
is like
kits at
getting
50,
200, isn't it?
then you still get your 10 kits.
Yeah, do 5 kits at 50, yeah. Good call. 100 for 4, 3 overs left. Taskin and Mustafiza will have an over each, you would think. Who is this? It is Taskin. Are you okay? Can you see our screen? Because we've got the light isn't very helpful, is it? For our screen. We're relying on our eyes. I'm not even sure if that contraption works particularly well.
I think that's gone a little bit better.
I just see the reflection of me in our screen. We've got a screen next to us. I wouldn't say that.
What about now? It's worse.
Yeah. Taskin, right arm over, runs in to Klassen. Klassen thrashes at this, but can't beat short extra cover along the ground, shy of the stumps, which is completely unnecessary. He's mercifully backed up by Mustafiza, or there might have been a bit of a snafu there between bowler and fielder.
This is dangerous territory for me, sorting out a TV. Last time I did that, it took us off air.
Oh, you have taken us off air, haven't you, before? Yeah. It can be a bit of a weapon in those situations.
Yeah, well, you know, you're pulling wires out, try and fix the telly out. I pulled the wire that was keeping us on air out the Kubi.
How long did it take for it to be identified?
Well, Henry knew straight away because the line went dead
Right.
and the effects disappeared, but then it took a good 4 minutes to get back on air.
Taskin's in. Oh, and this has been pulled. A ball that stopped on Klassen, and he played a controlled pull. They're coming back for a second. Shy at stumps at the non-striker's end, misses. Again, Miller's comfortably home. And again, it's a ball that's just made it to the edge of the ring, this time square of the wicket. I think the ball, looking at it again, yeah, he's bowled that into the pitch quite deliberately, and Klassen's ended up going through the shot too early than just keeping his bat there to make sure he gets some contact for a couple of runs.
Slower ball, staying low. So he's actually played it all right in the end.
102 for 4. In comes Taskin. It's a long run. He's up the wicket, bowls, and bowled in! Klassen goes for the big heave, and he's castled. And the crowd again have something to cheer about, and they're thoroughly enjoying that sight. Klassen, having whacked a 6 off the previous over, was looking dangerous with just 15 balls left, but that problem has now gone for Bangladesh. South Africa are 102 for 5.
Yeah, Klassen just asked Miller there, how did I miss that? How has that bowled me? And Miller's just signalled the fact that it stayed low, and it did stay low. Ends up hitting the top of the stumps, but it was a back of a length delivery. And Klassen's through the shot, then it hits the stumps.
So this is what we're spotting here in the second half of the innings. Ball not really coming on, is it? The previous ball, we had that sort of the pull shot that he wasn't quite there for, just into the pitch, then it stays there.
Yeah, but it's also interesting in the fact that as soon as you start playing aggressive shots, that's when it becomes really hard.
Yeah.
But when you're knocking it round into the leg side, into the offside for a twos, it's slightly easier, and then you've got to pick your bowler, haven't you? Pick your time to go.
Now Jansen walks out to the crease, the beanpole that is Jansen.
I hope he bats better than the other day, because he played a horrible shot to get his team into a real sticky situation.
Wasn't it? An abomination of a shot. I mean, we've seen some rugby shots over the years, don't get me wrong, but that was... It just came out of nowhere. It seemed totally unnecessary. It seemed like the exact opposite of what he should have been doing. Let's see if he's learned from that. Well, I don't know in this situation quite what you do. Is it just get the single and put Miller on strike?
Yeah, get yourself in.
I fancy he might wind up for a big one though. Those long levers, he's doing it.
Yeah.
He's doing the what are we going to call it? Like a windmill. Just turning his arm over, loosening up. Taskin into Jansen. The crowd roar. Jansen drives at a full ball, gets a bit of inside edge onto pad, maybe shy at the stumps, misses. Jansen was dawdling. Had it hit, he might have been out, but he gets through. 103 for 5. And there was a bit of inside edge there, no signal from the umpire, and that's not just for DRS purposes. We heard 2 noises. That must have been what it was. No, is that no ball?
No, it's coming round.
Oh, it's coming round, right. Of course, we've got left-handed Miller in. In the ring is mid-off, extra cover, backward point, short mid-wicket, saving 1. Quite a fine, deep third, deep point, back out on the offside. In comes Taskin, and Miller pulls. Nice crisp connection, but finds deep square leg. It was very wisely come in about 20 yards from the boundary, so they'll only get the 1. Zaka Ali doing the fielding. 104 for 5, brings Jansen back onto strike. He sort of has a free hit here, the last ball of the over. But having watched Jansen, I don't think he needs many invitations for a free hit.
I reckon he'll just go, go on then.
Yeah. Let's have a bit of this.
Heave ho.
Heave ho, heave ho.
Jolly good fella. I'm not sure that's how he talks.
I'd be quite surprised if he does. Taskin into Marco Jansen, who cuts this nicely through backward point, gets 1. Deep third runs in. Jansen slips over, and maybe he's okay. He'll keep strike. There's just 1 run added. The total 105 for 5. So very good over from Taskin, conceding just the 5 runs. He finishes with 2 for 19 in 4.
He's like a baby giraffe when he fell over there.
Wasn't he?
And they've not really worked out how tall they are.
The legs splay,
Yeah.
don't they? Yes, there's certainly a bit of that. So, who's going to bowl this 19th over? It's going to be Rishad Hossain. That's interesting. Not Shakib Al Hassan.
Yeah, that is interesting.
The leg spinner. What do you make of that? Is it because Miller the left-hander? Is it?
Well, you can obviously spin the ball both ways, but I'm guessing because of the big boundaries and the take the pace off, and we know that it's hard to find the boundary.
Well, he's been the most expensive bowler so far. 3 overs, none for 28. Shakib's only bowled the 1 over, the veteran. That only cost 6 runs. I sort of imagined there'd be darts fired in by the wily old campaigner, but Rishad, I imagine, we're going to see give it flight every now and then. He's got those variations, which is what the skipper's thinking of here. And we've got a backward point, well, a short third, a backward point, and a short extra, and a short mid-wicket in. This first ball is just tucked into the onside, going deep into his crease. Jansen takes the 1. Miller says, no, that's fine.
We've seen this before.
Yes. Keshav Maharaj.
Yeah.
We batted with him the other day and declined the single off the last ball of the over, and then proceeded to win the game in 4 blows. When South Africa were just teetering somewhat against the Netherlands. So Rishad just adjusts his field for the left-hander. Long on, deep mid-wicket, deep backward square, out on the leg side, and a short fine leg. In he comes. Miller's bowled in! Miller goes for the hoik. He goes between bat and pad, and it clatters into the stumps. Another South African is bowled. And it's a big wicket of David Miller. He could do serious damage at the back end of this innings, but he's got to go. First Klassen in the last over. Now Miller. 106 for 6, South Africa, with just 10 balls remaining.
Yeah, that's well bowled. It's really well bowled. You know that David Miller's going to take the game on with 12 balls left, 11 balls left. Angles the ball, targets leg stump, cramps him for room, doesn't give him his arms. He takes the big old shot down the ground, doesn't connect. And that changes this game for Bangladesh, because if Miller's there at the end, he ends up another 50 not out. And now they're into the Maharaj and the bowlers.
And the bowlers. Well, yes, it wasn't quite the birthday present that David Miller was hoping on his 35th birthday today to receive that ball.
It's always older than I think.
Yes, he's got quite like evergreen features, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's got those eyes, I think, that hint at experience, but somehow youth as well.
But he is always playing a game somewhere around the world on any given day.
I think he might be cloned.
Do you think there's like a few Millers?
Yeah, I think they are. I think they're sort of, they're sent around the world.
I bet his wife loves it. There's loads of holidays.
I imagine.
Loads of David Millers.
Yeah, loads. We get tired of that David Miller, we'll just bring in the other one. I'm really impressed by the captaincy here, though, because it was a big call to put Rishad on. Rishad Hossain, the leg spinner, and he's responded well. Keshav Maharaj is a new batter, and he goes for the sweep, but he just manages to paddle it up and over the keeper. Very, very fine. Down to the boundary, towards the boundary, and they run through for a couple off the mark straight away. Maharaj, he's a capable bat, Maharaj. Just seeing the replay of the dismissal, and it was just... It turns a bit, doesn't it? It turns back into him. Well, actually, barely.
See him up, skidded on a little bit.
Big hoik, missed. Thank you very much. We've had a lot of bowls today. The crowd love it when they're bowled as well. Maharaj waits and then pushes defensively into the offside. Can't beat short extra cover. A dot ball. This over has gone 1 wicket, 2 dot.
I'll tell you what, if Bangladesh can keep South Africa under 115, it's game on.
Ooh, 115 you're calling it, yeah? Maharaj goes for the big drive, gets a thick outside edge, it runs to short third, who shows no interest in picking up and trying to run out Jansen, who was running to the keeper's end. And so they get through for an uncontested single, 109 for 6. 7 balls remain in the innings. This is Rishad's last ball. Jansen this is free hit time. He's going to go big here, I think. And he goes for the reverse. It's struck on the pad. It rolls out square of the wickets, picked up by the keeper. End of the over. Terrific over. Just the 4 runs from it, and the big wicket of David Miller. And South Africa with 1 over remaining, 109 for 6. Remember, yesterday India made 119. Pakistan got very, very close to it. We're in a similar ballpark. Alex Hartley thinks 115 is today's.
A brave
target.
captain would bowl another spinner now. And I'd be all for it. Just don't give them their arms, don't give them that step and hit.
Bowl Shakib or Mamadullah.
Yeah, but we're not.
They're going to go with the fizz. Tried and tested.
I mean,
Mustafa.
yeah, he's only gone for 14 in his 3 overs. It's not like he's bowled badly. And
he's a tricky customer, and Keshav Maharaj has just come out to bat, and it's an awkward pitch, so you can sort of see the thinking. Short extra, backward point, short to mid-wicket, and a mid-on. The fielder's inside the circle, long leg, deep backward, square leg, deep third, deep point, and long off. The remaining fielders is Mustafiza. Comes in to Keshav Maharaj. Wide ball outside the off stump. Not cleanly taken by Lytton Das. He's going to get away with it. Umpire does not signal why.
no, I think that was absolutely fine. Slower ball, wide Yorker. It did die before it got through to the keeper though, didn't it? Like almost rolled towards him. And Maharaj just looked and went, eh?
Isn't it weird how this has changed? Remember the first game we saw it was flying through from Norkia and balls being taken up with the shoulder and whatnot. You've done a good job of deadening it, making it undangerous. Let's put it that way. Mustafiz is in, a swing and a miss again to the keeper. Tassi gets into all sorts of bother with the ball, drops it, tries to pick it up, drops it again. Gets so annoyed he just kicks it away to Shakib Al Hasan at backward point.
Well, I think he ran towards the ball to try and stop the single, the bye, to stop Jansen getting on strike, because this is the perfect situation now for South Africa. Maharaj on strike. The wide Yorker twice in a row has not held his shape and got nothing on it.
So Jansen, I think, is going to be running here come what may. Mustafiza runs in, left arm over. Maharaj swings and misses. And Lytton Das appeals for the catch. No one else is remotely interested.
Do it. They've got reviews left.
And if they want, no. Well, I mean, at the moment, Maharaj is just swinging and missing.
Well,
so
that's true. You bring in a new batter, they might connect.
Right, exactly. I mean, we've all seen Kagiso Rabada knock a few out of the ground with 3 balls left. Runs in short supply, right. Mustafiza, he's in. Lytton Das is halfway back towards the circle. Swing, miss again. Groundhog ball. It's 4 times this has happened. And Maharaj, I think, might be better off just getting bat on it and running.
Well, after the first one, and especially after the first 2, same delivery. He's just changing up his pace. Wide outside the off stump. If I was him, I'd have thought to myself, just wear it and get up the other end.
116 kilometres an hour that last one. The one before was 130, so good changes of pace from Mustafiza. 2 balls left. In he comes. Maharaj misses leaves a wide ball alone this time outside the off stump, and it's signal wide. He did move a touch across to off stump, but Mustafiza went even further. It's a little bit of cat and mouse taking place now between batter and bowler.
That's sad. I really wanted a maiden in the 20th.
Yeah. You can't have it all, Hartley. You can't have it all.
No, I've got most as well, so it's all right. Tell you what, I've got a sore throat. All this nattering.
Oh, there's been plenty of nattering.
Yeah.
Yesterday, you must have nattered for England yesterday.
Oh.
Not finishing your nattering till about 6:30. Mustafiza in, and that's been pulled into the onside. They've run 1. Jansen thinks of a second. Maharaj has no interest whatsoever. I say pulled, it was a check pull. Ball into the ground, just take the single. 111 for 6.
It went absolutely nowhere, that, did it?
Yeah.
It's like sometimes I'm on the golf course. I know you don't like golf, Dan, but I hit a really nice iron and it goes miles, and the next one it goes like 3 metres in front of me.
It was that shot.
That was
it?
that, yeah.
It's not golf that I dislike, it's the fact that golfers used to be cricketers and now they don't turn out for my club team because they're off playing golf.
And golfers like talking about golf.
They do like talking about golf. But you know, we can always move to another bar. Here comes Mustafiza, last ball of the innings. Janssen winds up for a big old larrup, gets it back past the bowler. It comes off a bit of Keshav Maharaj. They come back for a second, shy at the striker's end, the keeper's end. But Janssen is home and they have run 2. They finished South Africa on 113 for 6. And that is under 115. And I know you're saying, yes, I know that. But that is what Alex Hartley said would be game on. So, stand by this, it's game on.
It is, I really do think it's game on. And not only for the fact that obviously we saw the run chase yesterday and a run of ball kept them in the game and you just got to rotate the strike. But I also think if you think of Bangladesh, they're going to play on trickier surfaces. So I really do think it's game on.
Well, it does feel that way, doesn't it?
And then Bangladesh have a really good shot of qualification.
Yeah, so there'll be a few teams that are cursing South Africa here because they'll when you get into a bit of a pickle yourself, if you're like Sri Lanka, for example, and Ireland, whatever, you know, what you do is you need one side to win and continually win. So in this group, that side will be the Netherlands because they've pulled off one win themselves, but they've lost one. So now they kind of need South Africa to keep beating and finish with 4 wins. So if South Africa were to lose here, suddenly Bangladesh have got 2 wins, South Africa have got 2 wins. South Africa's last game is against Nepal, and you strongly suspect they're going to win that, and that makes life more difficult for the likes of, well, certainly the likes of Netherlands and Sri Lanka, who are starting to look a little bit doomed in this group. So 113 for 6 is what South Africa ended on. It started very, very dramatically. 4 wickets going down in double quick time. 11 for 1 when Reza Hendricks was out off the last ball of the first over. It was quite the first over. Then Quinton de Kock was up the third ball of the third over, 19 for 2. He'd made 18 of those with 2 sixes. Aidan Markram bowled for 4 off 8, 23 for 3. Tristan Stubbs was caught by Shakib Al Hassan off Tanzim for a duck. At that stage, 23 for 4 looked pretty desperate. And a partnership of 69 between Miller and Klaassen got them up to something.
I've got Tanzim Hassan Shakib alongside me. Tanzim, to restrict a quality batting outfit like South Africa to 113, how proud are you of this bowling attack?
Yeah, in the New Year wicket you saw every match was low scoring, so we're looking for that. Pace bowler getting help every match we saw. So we try to bowl, we just stick to the basic. We try to bowl in the good areas and that works.
You personally, 3 power play wickets, finishing with figures of 3 for 18. Which wicket was your favourite?
I think de Kock wicket was my favourite, and he hit me for 6s and I got his wicket, so I'm very happy.
That partnership through the middle was really building nicely between Klaassen and Miller. For that to be broken by Tuscan Ahmed, how important was that in those death over bowling as well? That was very crucial. You saw, if those batting complete the 20 over, then they can make big runs. So Tuscan wicket was very crucial, and we got the break to very perfect time. And this crowd today, how unbelievable is it? It feels like we're in Bangladesh. It's always happy, you know, Bangladesh game always crowd comes. So that's very plus point for us. We get motivated from them and we really appreciate you guys. Thank you. All the best. Well done on a great performance. Thank you.
That was Tanzim Shakib with Neroli Meadows, and he finished with the figures, finished the figures of 3 for 18 off 4 overs. Taskin Ahmed, 2 for 19. Mustafiza, the Fizz, none for 18 in his 4. Rishad Hussain bowled a really good 4th over. 4 overs, 1 for 32. Shakib Al Hassan, 1 over for 6. And Mamadullah, the veteran, 3 overs, none for 17. Yeah, just a reminder, those top scorers, Heinrich Klaassen, 46 from 44. David Miller, 29 from 38. I'm counting up the number of boundaries. There were 5 4s and 6 6s. I think that's why I was right on my screen. I don't know why I'm counting them up. 5 4s and 6 6s. So it yet again has been difficult to get the ball away and certainly to go big on this surface, but it's been great fun. Now, I'm delighted to say that I am joined today. We have a new guest, and we like having guests. Guests are good. Guests are what makes this whole programme work. I'm pleased to say we can welcome an American professional cricket umpire to the commentary box. He's the media scorer for the matches here in New York, and he also runs a very popular TikTok account. Welcome aboard, Brian R. Kane.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Thank you so much for having me. It's very nice to be here over in the radio box, a different view of the ground, but I mean, it's a great game so far, and we're looking forward to the rest of it.
What do you make of this crowd? I keep asking people this because, to me, this has gone beyond my expectations.
This, I think, is certainly the second best crowd that we've seen here at the Nassau County International Cricket Stadium. An entire side of the stadium over here is full of green and red Bangladesh jerseys. And I can tell you this is not really a surprise to me. Here in New York City Club Cricket Land, we have 3 competing Bangladeshi-only cricket leagues. And so to see all of them here gathered, working together, and here to support their team is really amazing.
I mean, you've got the very best view in the house as an umpire, insofar as for me to ask you questions about American cricket, because you'll be able to tell me exactly where it's flourishing, where it's thriving. But before we get to that, just how come cricket? Why are you sat here now?
I read about it in a book 15 years ago and then have found my way all the way here. I've played several other sports outside of the general American sporting landscape. The American sports culture never really suited me, so I was always looking for something else. I played Gaelic football and hurling. I played Australian rules football and rugby, and eventually found my way through to cricket. When I joined my first club, they couldn't teach me the laws of the game to the amount that I would have liked to have learned the laws of the game. So I took an umpiring course, and I'm a lot better at that than I am at being a 6'4" keeper. So here we are a bunch of years later. I work on the USA National Professional Umpiring Panel. I travel to places like Texas and Florida and California and North Carolina, these sorts of places where we have good pitches and high quality semi-professional and professional cricket happening.
But you also sort of demystify the game for people. Your TikTok account is about talking about the game of cricket. Not very many umpires do that, because there's a sort of expectation that umpires umpire the game and then they disappear, which is a bit restrictive and a bit unfair. I mean, you're sort of like preaching the gospel of cricket and doing it in rather flamboyant fashion. So what sort of encouraged you to go in that direction?
I think here in America we need a lot more of that. I think as people come into the game who haven't seen it before, they need some place to go to look to the game in its simplest form, to say, okay, I'm looking at this, I can see that they're running, I can see that there's a bat and a ball, but how does it actually work? People come to me and say, what are the rules? And I say, my rule book is 600 pages long, so give me a few minutes and I'll get to you. But I really like to demystify the game. I think that it's a very accessible game. It's a very simple game. Honestly, this is a game that can be played in alleyways and on streets, the same way that there's a tradition in New York City of empty lots being filled with kids playing baseball, and cricket can be played in the same way. So to bring it to an American audience who may not have seen it before, but who can find a lot of joy in it, I take that on as part of my job.
Like street cricket, warehouse cricket. I mean, I've seen warehouse cricket happening.
We've seen the warehouse cricket. We've seen John Boy, who's on the coverage here, take up the Ball in Play League, which is a hybrid baseball cricket sport played inside of a warehouse. And honestly, that takes me back to the traditions of, let's say, the Irish and then the Australians playing a mixed Irish and Gaelic, or a Gaelic and Australian rules football match that they then come together and play. And I love when we can take a couple of sports, mash them together, and just have a nice time. And if that means that more Americans are going to show up at the World Cup, watch it on their TVs, then that's all we can hope for.
Now, you don't just umpire here in the States. You have been over to England and you've umpired in England. What's the sort of pathway for an American umpire? I mean, I'd like to think that it should be part of the same pathways as for an English umpire, but I guess you start at a slight disadvantage, perhaps.
Certainly. I went over to England last year. I spent 2 weeks over in the Essex leagues. I did Saturday and Sunday cricket. I did some youth cricket during the week. A lovely man drove me around to my games and made sure that I got back and forth to everywhere. And the biggest thing about being over in England is that all the stuff you have to fight for in American cricket just happens automatically back in England. It's things like drinks coming onto the field, or knowing how many overs are left in the day, or these very simple things, or just bringing your team list and a pen and paper to the game instead of me having to give those to you. These are the things that happen really automatically. But the pathway for umpiring here in the US, you can take a level 1 course through USA Cricket or through the USA Cricket Umpires Association, of which I'm a member. You get your level 2 from them as well, and then our level 3 umpiring course you have to take through the West Indies. So we're an affiliate of the West Indies Cricket Umpires Association. If you go through 3 years of umpire training, you'll end up with a level 3 certification, and at that point you'll be certified to do some of this pro and semi-pro cricket that is popping up around the country. And I'm hoping from where I'm at now that my next step up, hopefully one day, will be to join the ranks of ICC umpires, but that may still be a few years off. And I really have to give credit to the much more experienced umpires who are already on the ICC panel, who have been my mentors and are helping umpires all across the country to try and reach their goals.
I mean, an event like this brings some of the very best umpires together, doesn't it? So you had the chance to hobnob with Richard Kettleborough and Michael Goff and the like.
Not too much. I ran into Kettleborough and a couple other people a few nights ago out at the pub, which was unexpected and very nice. They're also in the next room over from where the scorers are. We are often handing off DLS sheets to them and speaking to them in general. I would hope to do a little bit more of that, but I'll do a little bit more of that when I'm in the crew with them.
Lastly, really, the sort of the culture of cricket in the different countries you've played in. So you've played in England, you've umpired in England. You told me the other day you go into a bit of, well, you didn't get into trouble, but the club was less than pleased when you enforced the playing conditions. Do you find that things are a little bit looser over here than they are in England, or is it really the same kind of culture?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that cricket that is played here is very much a pastime and is played in parks and is played mostly by people who are there to have fun. So if you put them out on the first ball because they stuck their leg in front of the wickets, or if you're enforcing an overrate penalty that they don't specifically think should be there because I'm just out here to have a good time, they tend to not like that. But us umpires don't see it that way. We look at our laws and our playing conditions, and when they need to be enforced, they are enforced.
Oh, testify. Brian, thank you so much. Brian Arcade, thank you so much for coming on. I'm conscious that you need to leg it to your room because you are actually scoring this game. And the players are now making their way out. The South Africans are out there in the field. The Bangladeshi openers are out there. And Prakash Wakanka, I believe, is also about to come and replace me. It's a short interval. These intervals seem to get shorter by the minute. And Alex Hartley's found hot food on a skewer. I don't know if she knows what it is. Well, we're going to find out more very shortly. Liam Plunkett, this is a really good chance for Bangladesh, isn't it? Talk us through how you see this panning out over the next few overs, and then I'm going to hand you over to Prakash Wakanka.
I think it's going to be a really tough test for the Bangladeshi batsmen. Obviously, you've got some of the best white ball bowlers for South Africa, so it's going to be a tricky test. I'm not sure the wicket's getting any better either. We've talked enough about that, so yeah, it's going to be a good watch to start off with. I always get excited when I watch some of the best bowlers bowl in international cricket.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, Liam. Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, wherever you are listening. And South Africa, absolutely. Their bowling attack has to be one of the finest in this tournament. It's relentless. You get through Jansen, you have Nokia waiting, you have Rabada waiting, you have Bartman, and then there's players who are not in the 11 who are also just as good. So terrific side. You just think that South Africa haven't really flattered themselves, but these pitches have tested them, as they've tested every team. But they have to be among the top 4 or 5 in this tournament with a real chance.
Yeah, it's always when you see South Africa on paper, they're always one of the best, and you want to make them one of the favourites. I still think, obviously, I love England, but that's going to be tricky. But India, South Africa for me, and Australia. I love to watch South Africa. I've always been a fan of them growing up. Sean Pollock's just down the road here, so nice to chat to him. But yeah, it's going to be a fascinating period of play.
Jansen is ready to start things off from the southern end. 2 slips in place, Klaasen and Hendricks. David Miller will be in his customary position at backward point. The point as well, I think, looks like Stubbs to me. Bartman is down below us, away to our left at deep third. and a mid-off in place, which presumably will be marked from the skipper. Here's Janssen with the first ball. He's in, he bowls well outside the off stump. Tanzid has nothing to do with it. Janssen's ability to get that ball up, given his height, really is a huge factor, isn't it, Liam?
It is. I mean, a little bit biased, similar to like Topley for England.
Very much.
Get lovely shape on the ball, but with that bounce, it's obviously difficult to play. You struggle to get on that front foot, and that's where he gets his nicks. Hitting the pitch hard on this wicket is going to be very difficult. Extra bounce, and the one that's skidding low, which is
good luck
with
Markram will talk about for a little while. Tanzid waits for Janssen. Janssen bowls good bounce, taken over his head really by de Kock behind the wicket, just indicating what we were talking about. And both these Bangladeshi batsmen, not really anything other than the sort of master batter height in terms of being fairly diminutive. If one of them went and stood next to Janssen, that might make for some picture.
Yeah, it is. It's really good at picking up that length, right, when you bowl against batsmen that are not too tall. I'm not too critical of the height, but it's sometimes hard because they're really good at cutting and good at pulling. So
here's Janssen in again, and the first ball may have come off the pad. A little bit of bat maybe heard two sounds. Rabada feels at fine leg. They'll be off the mark, Bangladesh, and Tanzid with that single.
Something always pure about watching a left-hand bowler.
Yeah, it's something about left-handers, and I think the simple logic that I have is there's just relatively fewer of them. But batsmen particularly, you look at left-handed batters and they just look so elegant. They might be an equally elegant right-hander. Somehow the left-handers have a unique way of approaching things. Here's Janssen in now, and Najmul is on strike to him. Janssen bowls, flash and a miss outside the off stump. Hung his bat out to dry really. Nothing shot, no movement of the feet at all.
Definitely, that's the one you either leave or throw the kitchen sink at.
And this was ball come hit my bat. Maybe kept a little low as well. Wasn't far from that yellow marker which the umpire uses to gauge wides. It's remarkable today, the sort of crop of former great fast bowlers around today in the overall broadcast floor is quite phenomenal. Janssen bowls this one, gets up, he rides it and pushes it on the offside. He won't get a run.
Would have been interesting to see if the World Cup was a little bit later. The humidity on the East Coast, which when I first moved across here, experienced that humidity, it felt like a Sri Lankan heat.
Oh, yeah, that bad, is it?
Yeah, it can get really sticky. So it would have been interesting to see how that ball moves around. Obviously, there's not been no cricket of higher standard played here, so it would have been cool to see how much the ball did swing. But the balls have got plenty to work with.
Certainly they have. The pitch has offered lots, and it's not been the kind of batter's paradise that we've seen more often than not in T20. Plays and misses outside the off stump. Does Najmul again. Not a confident stride forward. I guess it's hard if you're standing up and waiting to face Janssen. That ball's coming down from what, you reckon? 9.5 feet, something like that.
That's like them giant bowler machines you get when you're bowling at kids. Unrealistic.
Yes.
But it's tricky as a batsman as well, because you want to play your shots, you want to put that bad ball away, but it's tricky because the ball doesn't come on as nicely as you want to. So that's probably why the batsmen are just hanging the bats out there, not fully committing to the shot.
Yes. And of course, because of the dual-paced nature and a little bit of variable bounce, I remember Sanjay Manjrekar, one of India's batsmen, really getting hurt badly. Patrick Patterson, I think it was, in Delhi. The ball actually came through the inside of the helmet as he went forward to play and just shattered everything. It was a nasty injury. It wasn't a bad pitch. It was just, I suppose, the ability of that crop of West Indian bowlers to do what they did. Here's Kahizur Rabada, another absolute superstar. Goes in bowls, and this one's cracked away by the left-hander. Over pitch, gets the treatment. And as we were saying, Liam, a left-hander's stroke just is something special. 5 without loss.
Absolutely, great shot, middle of the bat. He actually did throw his hands at that one and hit it nicely. As Rabada would be very disappointed, that looks like a nice little warm-up throw down from him, which he doesn't normally do.
No. He's such a supreme athlete, Rabada. You know, the run-ups of quick bowlers often tell you so much about them, and Rabada's one of those who's got that easy run-up to the wicket. Doesn't seem to be exerting himself a lot before he winds into his delivery stride. Upish, but it'll run away square and just backward of point, and that'll be back-to-back boundaries for Tanzid. Expect the short, nasty snorter from Rabada, I think, coming up now.
Yeah, obviously he's bowling at a good pace, but still a little bit full. The batsmen are obviously very talented, can put that ball away. Slightly full, he'd be very disappointed. Obviously with this wicket, you want to be back of a length, but I'm sure he'll adjust. He's a very good bowler.
Yeah, they will, I'm sure. And it's remarkable that you know we've seen now what 7 or 8 games here, and it's that length that you have to hit if you have trouble the batters. Rabada bowls, goes back, does stands in, defends on the offside, just pulling it back, as you said, Liam.
Yeah. I remember playing against Rabada when he first came on the scene. I was playing for England Lions versus South Africa A team, and I remember he bowled a bounce and he apologised to me. And I think things have changed a little bit, bit since then.
Sure they have. Yeah, gentle giants, some of them, and some being the operative word.
Yeah.
Rabada, as the sun breaks through the clouds here above us at the Nassau County International Stadium, the Bangladeshi fans, having got themselves a quick drink or a bite, are back in the stands, driven firmly, but this time only as far as Maharaj. No, in fact, Hendricks, and there is no run. 9 without loss in the second over, in the requiring 105 more runs. Now, wait a minute. Yes, I've got my math right. I'm always worried. As you can make out, Liam, in the little time that you spent with me, mathematics wasn't my strong suit. 9 without loss in the second. Rabada away from us. Janssen, the towering figure of Janssen, had slipped, defended. That might have kept just a tad low. Did well there, Tanzit. That's another advantage, I guess, of not being too tall.
Yeah, it is.
Ones that keep low.
That's a perfect length on any wicket, right? And any wicket around the world. Obviously, sometimes it's easier to play that, but that's a perfect length that he hits with that good pace. Often gets a little shake back. But I'm sure he's looking to hit that area, and as you said, I'm sure that nasty bounce is going to come out soon.
Well, let's see if he certainly won't be saying I'm sorry. Here he is, bowls, flash and a miss. There's an appeal. Heard the sound. I thought he'd hit the ground, but he's standing there for some reason. Might be disappointment, but he's now going to consult. Surely, if you've nicked the ball, you know. What's Shanto going to tell you different?
Definitely sounded like wood.
Did. Now very reluctantly he leaves the field. He's 9 for 1.
He's been sent by his partner. I heard it. Off you go. Similar kind of delivery. It was a wide. It wasn't probably a delivery he tended to bowl. Probably it was there to hit through 4.
Yep, but I think he may not have quite got to it. Yeah, a little bit wider, and just enough to get a feather through to the gloves of de Kock, and Bangladesh have lost their first wicket. South Africa have drawn first blood. They're defending a total that at some point in time, certainly before the game began and they chose to bat, they wouldn't have been looking for. They would have looked much more than that, at least 30-40 runs more. But as we've seen on these pitches, 113, 118, 119, 103, 137 might be the highest score we've seen here, isn't it? 137. I think Canada got that. Yeah, 137. Dan Norcross behind me confirming that for once I got the number right. 9 for 1. The third over about to start. Janssen will continue.
It'd be interesting with Canada and USA playing on this wicket, because them guys often play on these wickets.
So well, you could see that. I mean, the way USA, the India-USA game is being built up, you know, I think it's going to be a much closer game than most people think it will be. Janssen, 2 slips in place. Into bowl to Najmul, bowls, and Shanto plays it square on the onside, takes the bottom hand off. Quickly fielded, stubs in there, and there's no run.
What I love about the South African fielding, it's so attacking. You feel like you're going to get off strike, but feels right on the ball. Gives you no room to get that single.
Really in tight, all of them, and making sure that you have to work for your runs. Yellow and green of South Africa.
I think that's when Jonty Rhodes was around, and obviously Dale Steyn is an absolute athlete there with the teams you looked at, especially as the England team growing up, that you wanted to be like in the field, like Brett Lee as a fast bowler for Australia, and obviously, as I said, Dale Steyn was rapid around that field, outfield.
Certainly was. There's Janssen in bowl, shot pulled away nicely. May not have got all of it. Ball will slow up. They'll probably end up with 2. Will try for the third, and they should get it if they run through, as they are now, and complete it quite comfortably.
So it was a nice shot. He didn't try to overhit it on this wicket. He tried to caress it around the corner. Maybe elsewhere that might have ran away for 4, but Stubbs is quick and he managed to get that back in. 3 runs.
3 runs, absolutely. 12 for 1 in the third over. 114 is what Bangladesh will be aiming and gunning for to cause yet another upset. But at this point in time, one would think that with the power and variation and options and quality that South Africa have with the ball, one or two Bangladeshi batters are going to have to play the innings of their life.
Get my head around this being a good score, you know. It's
it's hard, isn't it? Here's Jansen in. That was a lovely delivery. Lifted, left the right-hander through to the keeper.
Sign
again.
Sign of a good batsman. If you've been in the IPL and the wickets have been absolute belters and you've been able to hit through the line and you can come across and play on these wickets and still score, that shows you the talent and how quickly they can adapt as a batsman. Joe Root was one of the best I've ever seen. When you go to a tour, you play a few warm-up games, he would always get the runs early. He adapts so quickly. Sign of a good player.
Here's Jansen now into bowl. Up he comes ball, and this one's... Where did that ball go? I was looking to long leg. It went straight through to de Kock. And 1 for the over.
Initially it looked really high. Maybe
It did, didn't it?
From our view from here.
At least to the naked eye. But the umpire's no better. He's got the greatest view there from square leg. Here it is now. Let's see what Liam thinks.
Oh, it's down leg side, I think, more so than height, right?
Very surprising that the umpire missed that one. And it couldn't have taken anything, because if it had, he'd be walking back. Gloves were the only thing around. Jansen in. And this time well left. And this time the umpire does signal wide. We get your thoughts on 2 interesting things that were introduced into the IPL, the substitute, the super sub, and the fact that you could review wides as well. What do you think of that?
Obviously slows the game down in terms
It
of
does.
reviewing wide. Good and bad for bowlers, I guess. I've got away with a few in my time. In terms of the sub, also good and bad, but I also do like 11 versus 11. But obviously bringing in more power in the game, with an extra bowler or an extra batter, it obviously makes it more exciting.
Another 25 runs to the total,
Yeah,
probably.
The scores were crazy.
That's how most people have used them. There's Jansen, beats him again. This has been a lovely over from Marco Jansen. He's beaten the bat a couple of times.
It's definitely fascinating to watch the IPL. The scores, they just kept on coming. And scores were getting chased down. I'm watching guys like Klaasen and Miller. And
Yeah, absolutely.
Markram.
But, you know, in my mind, and I think I have a little bit of a commercial head, maybe that's why, I think both those changes also help to get more commercial breaks in.
Yeah, okay.
So it's more money for the television guys.
More business there for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. Slow the game down, get more ads in. Here's Jansen in bowls, and this one's played away on the offside, brilliantly fielded as you'd expect. And no prizes for guessing who that was. Had to be David Miller.
That's the same as when you change your bat 3 or 4 times and you get your bat sticker on TV. It's the same thing, right?
Yes. I mean, it's remarkable how the game's changed over time, and I'm probably showing my age here, but when you think back to the times when they've been on tour and test players, test batsmen have had to borrow a bat to play, because they only had 1 or 2 and one broke, and then you had problems. These guys carry, how many does Joe Root carry on a test?
I'm not sure. I'll probably be guessing it's more than 5 probably. But when you talk about the business side, I know obviously players and the business side of cricket, I feel like that's evolving as well in terms of partnerships and potentially setting some up outside of after cricket in retirement. So it's
no, it's all fair, absolutely. I mean, you've got to do what you have to do. Here's Bartman in. He's been phenomenal. Down the wicket he comes, gets the elevation and the distance. Just over the cushion there. Lovely shot from Najmul Shanto. Down the wicket he comes, picks it up on the full and deposits it over the head. Bartman has been absolutely phenomenal in the 2 games we've seen him here. And I'm looking back to see if Alex Hartley is here. Alex has christened him the man that she wants to see bowl. He's a very early favourite of hers, and he's going to have to come back strongly because no one's really gone after him because he's bowled that well.
That's a great shot, not letting the ball settle. Outstanding shot.
Close to the wicket, he's bowled again. Nice, sharp, straight at the stumps and down, almost bending on a knee is Shanto, suggesting to his partner at the other end that was keeping low. Not sure if he had enough time to see it, but anyway, he did the right thing. Full face of the bat back along the track.
You're saying that as a bowler, you're looking to hit that length early to get that first one in. And if a batter comes at you and hits you straight down the ground for 6, it puts you straight under the pump, straight under pressure. But the second ball was a heavy length, great delivery.
Bartman, jersey number 41, away from us. In he goes, bowls, and Shanto drives again to a foolish delivery. Rabada fields at mid-off, no run. 19 for 1.
Yeah, I haven't seen too much of him. Obviously, watching some of the games leading up to this and seeing him in the franchise stuff in South Africa, he looks a really good bowler. I know Ricky Ponting was doing some analysis of him and shows a great seam early on and very skillful later in the game as well towards the death.
No, he's been fantastic. I mean, on the evidence of the 2 games that we've seen South Africa play here, he has been one of the picks, really. Then again, bowls and defender on the offside taking a sharp single. There's going to be trouble if he'd picked the ball up. Oh boy. Litton Das, the skipper, sending Shanto back. There might have been a tight single if they had gone straight through. There might have been trouble. The fielder was running in was Reza Hendricks again, sorry. And if he'd picked the ball up cleanly, there might have been a run out here. He came charging down the pitch. Shanto knew he wanted that run. Litton Das wasn't interested.
Maybe might have got that. He's on the weaker side of, is it cover?
I think if both of them had gone straight away, they might have got that tight single. Bartman bowls, and this one's driven too firmly to Rabada, and they decide that their run wasn't there, quite rightly so. So he's played positively here in this entire over. Bartman's kept the ball up to him, and he's looked to drive conventionally.
Yeah. See, obviously a great shot to start with, but now he's put the pressure back on himself, because as a bowler, you've got out that over. If you can finish off here, it's as a batsman, can you get off strike here? Can you take that from 6 to 10?
Which is probably why he wanted that single so badly.
Yeah, true.
Get the right-hander in. Here's Bartman, and defended very nicely. He's looking good, isn't he, Najmul? He's moving his feet well. He's middling the ball more often than not, but credit to Bartman. 6 of the first ball, comes out of it well. 19 for 1 after 4. Just for comparison, and comparisons don't always work, South Africa were 23 for 3 at the end of 4 overs, but then that terrific partnership between Klaasen and Stubbs really pulled them out of the hole.
Yeah, definitely. It's where the carnage started to happen right in that early period, and I think Bangladesh have done nicely here. It's not a big total. It's obviously getting that partnership together, putting the bad ball away, and it's just, can you keep rotating strike?
Yes, and can you keep a cool head? I mean, Pakistan yesterday, I still can't believe that with 48 runs needed of 48 balls with 8 wickets in hand, a side with the quality of batting that Pakistan has didn't get over the line.
It's funny that, obviously looking on social media and media, it was like, oh, India are going to win this, India are going to win this. So it's crazy how people do view this wicket and do view the strength of the Indian bowlers.
Yeah, Bumrah in particular, as Jansen bowls. Oh my God, that was a horrible looking shot. Oh. I can't even begin to describe this. His left foot was to square leg. His face was probably somewhere at mid-on, and his bat came from slip and went over to find leg in an arc.
Yeah,
doing everything except making contact.
His head was definitely looking in the clouds, that's for sure, right? But I guess I can say very like a club shot to cow corner, maybe.
Not when you're captain of your side, not when you're 19 for 1 against South Africa, with more than a decent chance of getting to that 114 that you need. There's Jansen in bowls, and this time, he's hit him. That'll hurt. And South Africans letting him know, remember what happened between Klaasen and Litton Das earlier, so the South Africans crowding around him and saying what they have to say, letting him know, you mess with us, this is what you're going to get. That hurt.
This is one you're going to get nailed in the box, that's what you get. Be interesting how he reacts to this, whether he likes this, and maybe that's why he started the conflict in the first instance.
Does he like to? Off, don't they?
Yeah, just like he's back against the wall, and he'll come through that and perform.
Virat Kohli, first name that comes to mind. Let me say Virat Kohli 1.0. I think he's become a lot different now, much more mature. But he used to pick a fight. He used to look for one, and that he would egg him on. As the Australians in particular learned that you don't get the crowd to start saying things to Virat Kohli. Jansen bowls, and this time he's connected solidly, and he'll get a 1 bounce boundary to long leg. Now that'll make him feel a lot better.
Seems he's bowling that length, isn't he? He's really back, and some of them are flying through, but he missed out. There was a wide, and probably should have been 2 wides the last over. But that seems like an easy delivery him to play that. He's getting under that. It's a nice shot. Didn't time it, but he got enough of it.
Yes, and more importantly, got it away from Bartman, who was very fine on the boundary here, and there was no chance therefore of him getting dismissed. Got 4 runs, 23 for 1. Run a ball pretty much from here on in, and most paces you'd say that's a done deal. Not so here, not so on this pitch, and certainly not with this attack. Jansen in, and worked away to fine leg. He'll take 1, and total will move up to 24, and that'll bring the left-handed Shanto on strike to, and Jansen is standing there towering over the figure of Lytton Das. This is hilarious, actually. Not for Lytton, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's a tall guy. I feel small next to him, mate. It's that extra bounce. It feels also he's bowled a few short deliveries, but he's so good that back of the length seems to be flying through here. It's real difficult to play.
Very true. Now, I generally avoid conversations about vertical discussions. Here's Jansen in bowls, and Shanto plays it back. A little bit rushed in that push. 24 for 1 with 1 to come. My most sort of memorable moment of that would have been on commentary with the one and only Sir Curtly Ambrose. Right. And someone who's not named took a picture. It had to be a very long vertical picture to get both of us in it. Come on, he's a tall man, isn't he?
He is. I was with him 2 weeks ago here for the opening.
Well, yeah, he was here, wasn't he? There's Jansen in, and well left. Shanto ducks underneath it, lets it go, watches the ball through. 5 overs bowled, 24 for 1. South Africa were exactly the same number of runs. They just lost 3 extra wickets. So this is where their partnership began between Klaasen and Miller, which took them to a certain score, which on this pitch one feels might be enough to challenge Bangladesh.
Yeah, definitely. The ballers just keep coming, right? The rotating Rabada here.
Lost my mind,
he's coming back on. I think they might try and get a breakthrough. Maybe that's why he brought him back. Thought Bartman bowled nicely after the first ball, which was a good shot. But yeah, I think South Africa will be looking for a breakthrough here to put the pressure back on.
24 for 4 South Africa were after 5 overs. Bangladesh 24 for 1. Rabada runs in. Lytton Das drives aerially over extra cover. It won't reach the boundary. There might be a couple. It will be just a couple. Crisp shot. Once it hits the outfield, it sort of dies. The best place to hit it if you're going to go aerial is onto these advertising mats.
I was about to say the stands.
Yeah. The stands would be good, yes.
It's a bit like, I think I spoke to you previous about this, is that the kids around the area, Philadelphia, New York, is the outfield so long. So even when you beat the infield, the ball just plugs. And it's quite hard. You want to teach them to hit straight, but the ball doesn't go anywhere.
Rabada in again. Das is struck on the pad and the ball nearly plops back onto his stumps. He just manages to stop that from happening. That's because I suppose, is it just they don't cover grass, municipal grounds and whatnot?
Yeah, I think because the township don't allow it. It gets too short and obviously the grass will burn.
Yes, of course. And in baseball it doesn't really matter, does it, as much?
No, the outfield's beautiful, right? It's lush. Surprised all the money gets pumped into it. The facilities are great.
Rabada in, right arm over. It's worked into the onside to get a single as he goes to the right of mid-on. And our man, Otniel Bartman, does the fielding. 27 for 1. Another run for Lytton Das. He moves to 8 for 11. He had a very fine T20 World Cup in Australia, and he really nearly got Bangladesh over a line against India, which would have been a result, would have taken them through. And then a controversy, some rain that fell, and he went back out. He was run out, wasn't he? Slipping over, coming back for a second. The very first ball after the resumption. Rabada in. Shanto just guides that to backward point. And run.
Yeah, he's a good player. I've played against him. He plays the short ball really well. Played against him franchise cricket in Bangladesh and internationals, but I know he's took me down a few times. He can wait for that back of a length on a good pitch, and he can pick you up, and also can get into the ball and hit the ball on the floor through the covers nicely. He's a good player.
He's all formats as well, isn't he? I mean, I've seen him. He had a terrific Test match here not that long ago. He kept appearing or hovering around the edges of the sort of Test team of the year with his numbers. So he's got the technique, as well as timing, as Rabada is in. That's guided again. It's nicely on this occasion by Najmul down to deep third for a single, a wide-ish ball. He just lays back and then gets it past backward point, 28 for 1.
They obviously came early as well. They played against USA in Houston. Wickets were a little bit better, but they're used to batting on these wickets now. They give themselves a good lead up to this. I feel like they've played it quite nicely. When the ball didn't bounce nicely, they seem to have adjusted and been able to find the middle of the bat and play a solid defence.
It's been an impressive start so far, but we saw yesterday what happens. Things can get muddled in the head on this pitch, and it can get more tricky at the back end as Rabada starts in again and gets thick inside edge. It squirts away down towards the fine leg boundary. There'll just be the one run, bit of pace taken off. I think it was inside edge onto pad, was there? Umpires making no signal, so it will have been 29 for 1 after 6. Najmul has 10. Lytton Das has 9. I suppose it's about keeping your head in this situation, because for Bangladesh, if they win this game, they'll have beaten South Africa and Sri Lanka. They'll have Nepal and the Netherlands to come. They're good sides, Netherlands especially, but one more win and you're basically through. So
yeah. I mean, also for South Africa as well, is they want to win this game, but if they don't, it's World Cup, the pressure, being put under the pump. So it's good for them if they can get it down the wire and win a game, as you're going through to the next game with that pressure you've had, and you've come up with a win.
While we've got you, you've seen much of England. I mean, there hasn't been much to watch because of the rained out first game, but against Australia, what sort of form do you think they looked in? I know they lost it by 36 runs, but what was your assessment of their performance? I'm
going to be completely honest. I watched 10 minutes highlights. I was on holiday.
Ah, right.
So I watched obviously the highlights package. Yeah, I was, and obviously I've watched all them guys. I get up in the IPL different time, but I do watch the guys in IPL and follow them. You've got so much talent, so many clean hitters, so many experienced bowlers with the spinners and CJ. Joff coming back. They've got an exciting team. It's just obviously that game against Australia was disappointing. I don't know the situation, but hopefully they can win their next games, and if they get a sniff, hopefully. Yeah,
looks like they're going to need to win them quite handsomely. Right, Keshav Maharaj into the attack. He gets a wicket with his first ball. Lytton Das driving firmly at short extra cover. The catch is taken. And the captain goes. It's David Miller with the catch. Lytton Das goes for 9, 29 for 2. First ball, he's gone for a shot straight away, and it hasn't paid off.
Absolutely. I think the Bangladeshis would have been excited to have the spinners on. They generally play the spin well, and you get that ball first up, hit it straight to cover, wicket gone. You've just got through the tough period of the South African fast bowlers.
Do you find that there's just that little bit of edge comes off? You know, done the power play, done those 6 overs, see the left arm spin. Nice.
I think potentially as well as maybe the wicket was a little bit sticky. Maybe he's waiting for it to come a little bit quicker as you're trying to get back and hit that gap. And obviously sometimes not easy on this wicket, and it was looked like an easy way to get out.
It's a big wicket though. Lytton Das is the sort of man who could anchor the innings and take them through to victory. There's plenty of batting still to come. Still Shakib Al Hassan, Mahmudullah, plenty of veterans out there. And it looks like Shakib's been sent out now. He has. Listen to the roar for Shakib Al Hassan.
When you go back to England's chances of winning, they have to win really comfortable. They can do that though with that team. But be excited to see them do that. Hopefully we love to see that, but the chances are slim, obviously.
Jofra Archer coming back, it sort of energises everybody in the land. You know, there's something about him. He has an X factor, and you played with him, of course, in that 2019 World Cup. Saw him up close. He feels different gravy to us. Come back to it after this delivery. Maharaj, left arm spinner to left arm spinner. Shakib Al Hassan on strike. Sweeps his first ball, and will get a run down to fine leg, really. Rabada does the fielding.
Absolutely. He's so skillful. Obviously he's got his pace, but he's very skillful with his knuckleballs and his different skills. I remember in the nets he was working on a knuckleball. That's what I was doing. I said, I can't bowl it, I'm trying to practice it. And he went, I'll give that a go. I think his first time he tried it, he got Maxwell out. And I was like, it's just so natural to him. He's great to watch. His rhythm. And
Maharaj in. Shanto comes forward and defends back to the bowler. No run. So part of you though watch that and go, how come you're so disgustingly talented?
Yeah, it's just so good to watch up close, right? When you get these guys who are so good, to be up close at mid-off and watching him running in ball is exciting, exhilarating.
Maharaj in. It's down the leg side. That's spun quite a long way, and wide has been signalled.
Something, me being a fast bowler and watching fast bowlers, and Harmison and Shaw played for Durham, and like Jofra's like that, it's great to watch.
He's in once again down the leg side. Gets a bit of bat on it this time. As Najmul Shanto is going to pick up one down to Rabada at fine leg. 32 for 2. The thrill, I guess, of just being on the pitch and feeling the buzz, because whenever he comes on, you know, the crowd suddenly get energised, don't they? Because I suppose the possibilities, what they might be about to see. It's an amazing summer all round with the Ashes as well, and incredible Lord's Test. Keshav Maharaj in, driving down the ground as Shakib Al Hasan for a single. 33 for 2. He had the drama of hitting Steve Smith and then Marnus Labuschagne coming out to bat. He showed no mercy. Hit him first ball.
Yeah, I think it was a fast ball. It's obviously, you see that, people getting hit and then the stumps go flying.
Yeah.
It's obviously good as a fan.
Last ball of the 7th. Maharaj bowls reverse sweep. He's nicely connected with it. Should get 2 here. Shanto's coming back for the second. Throw comes in. And batters at home comfortably. 35 for 2. 7 overs gone. Liam Plunkett's going to take a break. Alex Hartley's going to return with Najmul Shanto on 13. Shakib Al Hasan on 2. That target, don't forget, 114 for victory. So Bangladesh need 79 from 78. 78 from 78 for a super over. Oh joy, oh rapture.
Well,
Alex Hartley's back.
We could have another super over.
Why not? We didn't get that super over.
When you look at this and you think, okay, they need 79 from 78, you would think that Bangladesh are very much in the driving seat. But then you look at the bowling attack from South Africa.
And look who's coming on.
Yeah.
4 for 7 he took in his first match. Heinrich Norghier. On this pitch, he can be quite a fearsome prospect. There was a great pace. Comes in this rather martial fashion. Right arm over the wicket. And Shakib turns a full ball into the onside. They run the first quickly. They won't get a second. It must be quite tiring as a batter on these pitches and these outfields, because you know you've got to run a lot. You know.
But they are professional athletes.
I know they are, but sometimes they don't look awfully like, you know, they like to biff it into the crowd, sit back and watch the handiwork, don't
Well,
they?
yeah, but
now
that's why you've got all your fitness tests and that.
The bleeps and all this.
Yeah.
Do you do bleep tests?
No, I was too young for that. I was the yo-yo and then the 2K.
Oh, you have to tell me what a yo-yo is. As Norghier is in, it's worked into the onside. Full ball coming back into Shanto. He just hits it to short mid-wicket, no run.
It's a form of bleep test, but they used to think it was more like cricket, because you ran 2 and you had 5 seconds, and then you run another 2 and you had 5 seconds, you run another 2.
Ooh.
And it just climbs up and up and up.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was never any good at it.
Sounds horrendous.
It was. There was people used to like push themselves so hard for fitness testing that they'd make themselves sick.
Yeah.
But then we did get docked our wage if we didn't meet our targets, so you obviously would do that. You don't want to lose out on any money.
Powerful incentive, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, if you were me, I was like, just take my 5%, I can't be asked.
Oh. Yes. Norghier is in. This is turned fine, down to fine leg, ball on the pads. One more to the total, 37 for 2. There's a really terrific film with Sean Connery in it in the 1960s called The Hill, which is about prisoners, I think, that having to go as a punishment, go up and down this giant man-made sandy hill. And it's my kind of idea of a nightmare.
Yeah.
Really.
Any form of exercise now is my idea of a nightmare.
These stairs.
I don't mind them.
Don't you?
No.
I've taken a Gingham. Norghier in. Short. Top edge is going to be caught. Simplest of catches. Shakib Al Hasan has to go. It was banged in. He went for the pull and it went no distance. It just plopped up in a gentle arcing parabola into the hands of mid-wicket. Aidan Markram takes the catch. And Shakib Al Hasan has to go for 3, 37 for 3, and now suddenly the portents are not looking quite so great.
Yeah, it was only a matter of time before Norghier got a wicket, wasn't it? This time, as you say, short ball. He tries to take it on, doesn't get hold of it at all, and a simple catch taken. And this is where you just think South Africa are going to be so strong throughout this World Cup that no one's really fired with the bat because of where they've been and where they've played. But their bowling attack on surfaces like this is just outrageous.
Yes, of course, Super 8s take place entirely in the Caribbean, so we leave New York on the 13th of June. Today is the 10th, isn't it? So we've got 2 more games after this one, and then we move our team, at any rate, go to Fort Lauderdale, so we get to see what the Floridian pitches are like. It's always a voyage of discovery. And then in the Caribbean, well, I mean, be anything really. We've seen Barbados, and that pitch for England-Australia was perfectly fine. It was probably a 180 pitch, and England conceded 200. But you know, that's
That can happen.
that can happen.
That can happen.
So we're going to have to recalibrate when we move.
We are, aren't we?
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, what, 50 in the power play?
You've got to be joking.
Never happening. It's more like 12 for 4.
Yes, it's going to be different. I mean, Dallas, the first game we did there, a lot of runs were scored, nearly 400. As Norkia starts in to the new batter, Tarid Ridoy, and he gets his first run, working away down to deep backward square. Right-hander. Oh, now there's overthrows here. There could be two of them. A horrible mix-up. The throw came in from long leg, very late in the piece, and a crowd love it. Buzzers, as David Bumble Lloyd would say. The throw came in the deep. There were 3 people backing up, and somehow it's gone between all 3 of them and rolled into no man's land, into, you know, what was extra cover by that stage as the throw had come in from long leg. So bonus couple, 39 for 3.
The crowd loved that as well, don't they? The crowd are right behind Bangladesh, cheering every single run that they score.
Now wait a minute, you know, I think for the first time ever Charlotte might have made a mistake, because they got 3 for that, didn't they?
Yeah.
It's got Ridoy down as having just the 2. Here comes Norkia. That comes fast into the body and just squirts away into the offside. They're not going to get a run. End of the over. Scoreboard has been updated. It is 40 for 3, not 39. 3 to Ridoy, 14 to Najmul Shanto. Wicket in that over, and another 74 needed from 72 balls. I think we might be in for another nail biter. I'm all for the nail biter.
Yeah, me too. It's like this stage yesterday where, you know, Prakash was saying, oh, Pakistan are going to walk it so easy. I was like, it's not. It's so hard out there. We've watched so many games. We know that a run of ball is difficult. I mean...
You know why Prakash says that?
Well, yeah, I know.
You know he's got a lucky shirt for each opponent.
Does he?
Yeah.
No, he hasn't.
He has. He's got a lucky Australia shirt, and the only time he's seen India lose to Australia was in the World Cup final, because he didn't get his lucky shirt back from the laundry in time.
I don't think it's anything to do with Prakash.
Maharaj in, and it beats the outside edge of a groping Ridoy through to the keeper. No run. And he's got a lucky Pakistan shirt. Yeah.
Cricket's weird, though, isn't it? It has weird people.
They're all our people.
Yeah, exactly.
We're all much the same. Here comes the great man, actually. Now he goes for the big hit down the ground. Fielder can't get to it. Sails over his head to the jubilant delight of the vast majority of this crowd. Ridoy just clearing a leg and hitting it down over long leg. Big elevated drive. 46 for 3. Things like that just help take the pressure off a touch. It looks like they're going to go after Maharaj here.
It's a good shot as well. Slightly too full. Clears that front leg. Steps outside the leg stump. Batters it down the ground. Just for a moment I thought that long on fielder was in the game, but sailed over his head, and they've lost the ball. They've found the ball again now.
It's usually Marco Jansen down there. Yeah, it is. It is usually Marco Jansen, because he's nearly 7 foot, not quite, but 6'9". So you've got to go that little bit further with the extended arms and the reach that he's got.
Although he was good in the slips in the last game.
Oh, wasn't he? He took a whirling. This next ball's pushed into the offside of the back foot. They go through for a single shot. The stumps misses. They're going to get another overthrow. This is great running for the Bangladeshis. They're alive to this. They know that it's going to be very difficult to score enough boundaries to win on their own. So you've got to get 1s and 2s. And when the shy at the stump came, and there was only 1 stump to aim at, there was nobody backing up close enough. And instantly Ridoy thought, let's get back. And they're really charging. There's urgency and there's energy in this approach at the moment. 48 for 3. Maharaj in again. It's worked. Full ball to short mid-wicket. There's no run.
Well, you really have to be able to burgle every single run that you can here in New York.
Oh, listen to this crowd. Maharaj bowls, tucked off their hip. They'll come through for a single. And no more. Just worth letting that noise seep in, isn't it? Magnificent. We're in New York.
We're in New York.
Didn't make this much noise at Yankee Stadium, did they?
Have you seen how the New York Times have written up yesterday's game?
No.
Oh, it's brilliant. Let me find it.
Oh, please do. 49 for 3. Najmul Shanto on strike. Maharaj in, pushed back past the bowler, not quite. Really good fielding of his own bowling by Maharaj, diving away to his right of a firm push on the front foot. End of the over, 9 from it. 49 for 3 Bangladesh. They need 65 from 66 balls, so keeping that rate pretty much exactly where they need it to be.
I've obviously lost it now because it was on Twitter, but basically they've written it up saying it was a thriller. India 119 to 113, so they've done it like the score, like a football basketball score, yeah. But hey, at least they're writing about cricket.
Yes. But what an occasion that was yesterday. It was, gave me goosebumps to be there. But I tell you, this is running at a close second for me. There's Mexican waves going around the ground. There's flags being waved. There's cheers and shouts. What's the decibel count? Nortje in, edged just in front of Jansen. It died on him really at first slip. No run. Do you think they're trying to beat yesterday's 123 decibels? They've got decibel counter here.
I feel like they are beating it, to be honest, but we've not seen the old decibel counter. But it's the Mexican waves coming out. The fans are going wild. It's actually 10 out of 10 atmosphere, isn't it?
It really is.
I worry about the Mexican wave when it gets to our stand.
Nortje is in. Roy defends the ball. It comes back into him slightly. It's on the front foot, pushing into the offside. No run. He has 12. There's so many good bowlers in the South African lineup. You can't really play one of them out. But if there was one that would bother me most, it'd probably be Nortje for impact.
Just wondering how many times this Mexican wave's going to go around. We're on 4.
Yeah.
It's still going strong.
Mexican wave count. Nortje in once more. Defended again into the offside, but too close to point. And there's no run. Yeah, it's sort of startling, really. See just how many people are here. I totally underestimated on a Monday, on a working day, how many New York Bangladesh fans of cricket there would be.
Yeah,
Turns out that there are tens of thousands. So look, this is all an education for me and Hartley.
They're getting right behind their team because they know that they're in with a shot of beating South Africa here.
Nortje runs away from us. Rudolph blows a short ball at him, which he fends off well enough. It was around about sort of armpit height. And we'll get a single. The 50 is up. 50 for 3 in the 10th over. They don't seem to acknowledge the 50 quite as much. It's happy enough to keep on waving.
I'm not an acknowledgement of 50s and 100s in a team.
Are you not?
Everyone used to be like, why are you not clapping? I'm like, because it's their jobs. People don't clap me when I only go for 6 ones.
Yes, I suppose so. And also, you're not there yet.
Yeah.
You know. And it's a funny tradition, isn't it, really?
I will stand up, when someone gets runs, obviously.
Nortje. Ball short. This has gone up in the air. Should be taken, and it is. Another left-hander, Najmul Shanto trying to pull Nortje. You can't do that on this surface. And it goes easily into the hands of Markram. An almost identical dismissal to the Shakib Al Hassan one a couple of overs ago. And Bangladesh, just as they looked like they were getting a foothold in this chase, have another setback. It's 50 for 4.
Yeah, it was literally a carbon copy, wasn't it? That short ball looking to hit the ball into the leg side, back of a length, just that top edge. Ball goes straight up in the air. A simple catch again, taken at mid-wicket.
Just stop playing that shot to Nortje.
Yeah, because he's going to keep bowling it.
Yeah, and actually the more times you get out to it, the shorter he's going to come at your head. So, stop it. That's put, I would say, South Africa back on top here, with Shanto departing. It means Mamadullah walks out to the wicket. Another veteran. Bangladesh, the bedrock of veterans who played 20-year careers. We get very excited about Jimmy Anderson, but I imagine, I haven't double-checked, but I wouldn't be surprised if Mamadullah's still going in another 5 or 6 years, or indeed Shakib Al Hassan.
Yeah.
I mean, we're right to be excited about Jimmy Anderson and his long career, but
it's going to be weird without him,
isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll be seeing him around. And you can catch him, of course, on Tailenders, which you can get on BBC Sounds alongside our other podcasts, TMS podcast, and of course, No Balls and BBC Stumped, who have been out here in New York, meeting the New York Police Department, among others. Charlotte Swift, producer of that, we spent a little bit of time with her. Norkia in, down the leg side. The keeper, no run. We're at the halfway stage, 50 for 4. Bangladesh. Another 64 needed from 60 balls with 6 wickets left in hand. Yes, just a reminder, you're listening to 5 Sports Extra, or maybe on the Listen app, or the ABC or the ICC website. We've got every ball of every game of these matches in the men's T20 World Cup spread across America, United States, and all around the Caribbean. And I'm delighted to be able to tell you that you can now tell your smart speaker to play a county cricket game, as long as there's one on. It's not just going to invent one for you, it's not going to do AI, but just pointed out to me, it could be Lancashire v Durham if that takes your fancy. A bit of Scott Reed and Martin Emerson. It could be Surrey Essex, a bit of Don Topley and Mark Church, whoever might be around. If you just say the names of the teams you want, as long as they're playing, it'll go straight in and play all those
so clever,
wonderful commentaries. Isn't it incredible?
Yeah.
And we've got every ball of every game of the domestic season, of course, and the summer internationals when we come back from this World Cup at the start of July. But in this match, at the halfway stage, 10 overs gone, 50 for 4 Bangladesh. It's a game they don't have to win. Both these sides are unbeaten at the moment, and whoever does, well, in fact, frankly, if Bangladesh do, then the most likely outcome is that Bangladesh and South Africa will go through. So Sri Lanka, the Netherlands, Nepal, they'll all be hoping for South Africa to win this game. Let me know if you think they're likely to do that, Alex Hartley, and then I'm going to make way for Prakash Wakanka.
Well, like we keep saying, 64 from 60. You look at that scorecard all day long, even though they're 4 down, you'd say, well, of course they're going to win. It should be a walk in the park. But it's not going to be a walk in the park at all. We've seen so many games, so many low-scoring thrillers here in New York. I honestly think South Africa are going to find a way of getting over the line, and it's because they've got 5 outstanding bowlers.
You'd think so, wouldn't you, Alex? It's not going to be easy at all, and particularly now that they've lost. See, players like Shakibul Hasan are the ones who've often sort of shepherded the innings through the middle order and got Bangladesh closer, if not over the line. His early departure and Shanto, who was looking good for a while there, both picked up by Nokia, as you said, certainly has set them back. Really, you just get the feeling that this is it. I mean, Hridoy and Mahmudullah. Now, Mahmudullah, at his peak, obviously was someone who hit not just a long ball, he had a great thinking mind, and he would be someone you'd count on. Does he still have it? That's what the question will be in these circumstances, in these conditions, against this attack. We'll find out soon enough. But certainly South Africa odds-on favourite, I think. Mind you, there's nothing in the scores at the moment. 57 for 4 South Africa were at this stage. 50 for 4 is where Bangladesh are. So if these two can think of themselves as Klaasen and Miller, then anything is possible. I'm not sure they are. Just in terms of experience and quality. Deep third, deep point. 2 men behind the bat on the boundary. And your man, Bartman, bowls. Driven on the offside, slips through the fielder's hands at short extra, and a huge scream of no from Hridoy, because he thought Mahmudullah might be looking for a single.
It's been expensive today, Bartman.
You weren't there when you weren't watching him, I think, live when he was bowling.
I did miss the first ball that got hit for 6, and then 5 dots though. He brought it back, didn't he? Brought it back nicely.
He certainly did. He certainly did. And that's what Liam said, that for a bowler to bring it back is not easy. Bartman bowls. This one's whipped away on the onside. Maybe not quite where he wanted it. Must have been a little bit across the line as well. Bartman's hands went to his head straight away. A single, nevertheless. 51 for 4.
Yeah, that previous one is always one where you think you're in the game. The batter playing across their front pad. You just need to miss it and you're in with a shout for LB.
Bartman turns. 3 men in the ring on the offside. 2 on the onside. There's no one deep behind the bowler, and that's telling you where the length's going to be, or likely to be. Bartman bowls. Played down the pitch. The long, lanky figure of Marco Janssen, as he bends down, picks the ball up and gives it back to the bowler, Sir Bartman, who's been so impressive for South Africa in the 2 games that we've seen so far. You were talking about the crowd and what they're doing to create the atmosphere here. Alex, here's Bartman in, down the wicket, slashed edge, too fine, even for a fielder of the caliber of whoever. I couldn't read the shirt name or the number, but it was just a thin edge, straight down, fine, sharp into the 3rd boundary. 4 runs to Mahmudullah and to Bangladesh, but that stroke suggests that Mahmudullah is not going to die waiting to find out. He's going to give it the best shot. He came down the wicket on that occasion. Bartman bowls again, and this time he plays it better. Desperate dive from Miller to try and cut off the single. Won't succeed. In fact, they'll come back for 2 because the ball was played wide enough of the man at deep 3rd. This is intelligent by Mahmudullah. He's got 6 to his name, 57 for 4 now.
Yeah, that previous 4, it was Nokia down there on the boundary, and then this time he went a little bit finer and the ball went squarer. But Mahmudullah, you're right, he's got a lot of experience. He'll be thinking, I need to be the one that sticks around here.
Yeah, I think it's not going for the glory shot. Easy for us to say sitting here, of course. Bartman bowls and has played nicely, solidly, but Janssen moves so quickly across. How many steps do you think Janssen needs between the stumps if he was running?
Oh. Well, I'll count how many a normal person would need between the stumps on the next
normal
run.
Person being...
Like a normal height.
Which would be?
Taller than you, but not...
Of course,
not
taller than us.
Not quite.
I had to say that.
I am also the same height, if not smaller. Yeah, next time I take a run, I'll count Mahmudullah.
It's a bit like counting the distance from that last, or what we think is the last check post before we get to the ground, to the final security check. 50, 59, 58, 68, whatever meters it is. Nokia back into the attack, or rather continuing. Comes in bowls, good straight at the stumps. Forward in defence is Hridoy, and there will be no possibility of a run, of course. Tawhid Hridoy. Hridoy in Bangla means heart.
Oh, no ball.
Ooh, free hit. Okay, where do you think this ball's going to go? Are we going to get any runs? Is it going to be a swing and a miss? Is it going to be a wicket?
It's going to be a back of a length ball. It's going to be tried to get hit into mid-wicket, and it's going to be 4 runs.
Really? Brave call that, Alex. I don't remember a single free hit at this ground so far, having gone anywhere other than maybe a single at best.
Hasn't.
No, so well. Brave call from Alex Hartley. Let's see if that happens here. Nokia is ready. Hridoy is ready as well. He knows he can't get out on this one. Can he connect? Nokia in. Fires it in. Slower ball. Hridoy hits it, and I'm sorry, Rabada got in the way of your prediction at mid-off. It might have got to the boundary. It might have.
I think it might have got to the ring. It wasn't hit with much timing at all, was it?
A single to the total, nevertheless. 59 for 4. In the first ball of the 12th has been bowled. It's fascinating, isn't it? You look at the comparative score. 61 for 4 plays 59 for 4. Knowing what they have to get. It's just, can they? Can they believe? Nokia bowls, nicely played on the onside. Straight to the fielder there. Markram gets in, fields, there's no run. Sun streaming through our huge big glass window in front, and that generally is our transformation inside this commentary box is also quite remarkable, isn't it? I mean, we experience climate change every day.
Yeah.
Because we walk in, it's a freezer.
And we're all going, oh, we can't stay in there, it's so cold.
So we go outside before we start doing commentary and get on air. And then as the day progresses and the sun streams through, and the heat that this glass pane generates, we start finding ways to get some cool air. This one's again directed at the stumps. Well played by Mahmudullah. Defended on the onside.
Makes you drowsy though. I've found that about this time of day I've fallen asleep on air.
That must be an age thing, because it certainly doesn't happen to me.
You don't get drowsy?
No, but my daughter does the same thing. So I suspect it's, as you get older, you're supposed to sleep less anyway.
Well, I got 12 hours last night.
Well done. Very well done. Nokia turns at the top of his run. Nice, easy run up to the wicket. He's up, loads up, bowls, and Hriday still can't beat the man at straight mid-wicket. 3 times consecutively he's pushed the ball straight to the fielder there, Markram, and there's been no chance of a run. And that's what Nokia wants him to do, right? Play a little squarer, so a little more across the line and cause some problems.
Yeah, 94 miles an hour, that one, apparently, as well.
152, yeah, is that one of the quickest I've seen at this ground so far? Must be close. I don't think Shaheen Shah was Afridi was at his quickest yesterday. Here's Nokia in. Oh, lovely, well played, just past Marco Jansen. If anyone could have caught it, it was Jansen, because he's like, when he jumps and his hands are up in the air, he's like 11 foot in the air. And just managing to elude that, but intelligently played by Mahmudullah. If he had taken it, it would have been an absolute peach of a catch from Jansen. But 4 runs to Bangladesh and to Mahmudullah. He's into double figures now, 10 of 9 and 63 for 4.
Yeah, Mahmudullah there. It's a short ball and he just opens up the face. And it was there to be caught. He's just got the fingertips of Jansen. And goes through for 4. You can see he's hurt his finger there in the slips with that previous one.
Yeah, it must have stung a little. Nokia in now, bowls. And this one's played away nicely on the onside. He'll take another run. This has been a good over when you consider it's coming from Nokia, who's been devastating, really, one has to say, in the context of this game. 64 for 4, 12 overs have been bowled, and Nokia now has bowled 3 overs, 2 for 13, and 7 of those runs came in this last over.
Yeah, it's a good over for Bangladesh as well, because they're now above the rate. So every over that goes for more than 6 is a little win for them.
Dead heat at the moment. 64 for 4 after 12 overs, both sides. I love these low-scoring games. I think they should prepare pitches like this, which don't hurt players, but certainly make a real contest between bat and ball.
No, it has. It's been thrilling in a different way, hasn't it?
And I wonder what would fans say? I mean, do they really want to see the ball just sailing into the stand every other time, or do they want to see this kind of a contest?
Yeah, because it can get boring, can't it, when teams constantly get 200 plus?
It can.
Even that in itself can be a little boring. But Bumrah came out and said something about it overnight.
Did he? I didn't catch that. Rabada coming into bowl now with a fresh spell from the far end, pushed away to mid-off. There's to all of those who knew the man and those who follow Indian cricket, but Mumbai cricket in particular. Sad news overnight that Mr. Kale, who was the president of the Mumbai Cricket Association, watched the game yesterday, had a cardiac arrest and passed away in New York last night, we are told. So condolences to the family. Pushed away into the offside, into the covers. They might have thought of a second run if a lesser fielder than Stubbs had got there, but he moved in very, very quickly, short-circuited any plans of a second run. 65 for 4.
Bumrah, he said, you feel like watching a game when there's bat versus ball contest. When it's bat versus bat, I turn off the TV.
Well, I'm glad he didn't say when it's bat versus bat, I don't bowl.
That would have been better.
That would be terrible for the game of cricket. This one's played away square on the onside, and they'll pick up 1. De Kock had his arms up in the air. Maybe he thought for a moment it was a little bit of pad coming on to bat, but no one else had any interest. 66 for 4 now. In the 13th over, Bangladesh now require 48 from 45 with 6 wickets in hand. Can they? Can they believe? Who knows? Here's Rabada. And played away nicely again, square of the wicket of the onside. This is what they need to do. This is what Pakistan could not do, which is just rotate strike, keep picking up the odd single here and there, and make sure that they kept up with the rate, not leave themselves too much at the back end. 67 for 4 in the 13th now. But this is also the time when Klaasen hit those couple of sixes to get a serious amount of momentum into the South African innings. Rabada bowls, pushed away on the offside. There won't be a run to Miller's right, who gets in very quickly. And the score remains 67 for 4.
Slightly distracted at the commentary box falling apart there, and a screw from the roof falling on Dave Batchelor's head.
Oh, well, just as well it was Dave, because he's got at least natural protection. If it had been me, I might have just stuck in my skull.
That's how much the stadium's rocking with the fans today.
Rabada in. Dropped shot, worked away nicely. They're thinking for a second run, and mercifully from a Bangladesh perspective they decide against it. But another good, decent over, one would say. 5 runs coming off it, or 4 runs rather coming off it. 68 now for 4 at the end of 13, requiring 46 from 42.
Yeah, they are keeping themselves in the game. I think if I was, I'd still feel like South Africa are in the driving seat.
Definitely.
One more wicket and I think it's a sure conclusion that they'll win.
Definitely. And now Maharaj is coming into the attack. That's a smart move, because they did try to go after Maharaj. He's been one of the relatively the more expensive of the South African bowlers. His 2 overs have cost him 15. In fact, he is the most expensive bowler, and if that's the ploy, that come after Maharaj, and in the process you might make a mistake, you might hit one in the air, not clear the deep fielders. And we've got, let's see what the deep field is here. Long off, long on, deep mid-wicket man, deep backward of square, and a sweeper cover. So that's the 5 men in the deep. I'm sure Maharaj is going to toss the odd one up. He almost had his man. Moved to his right, clearing space to play on the offside. Hriday looking for that extra cover stroke, and fired in at him by Maharaj, and he ended up defending it into the covers. No run. Maharaj bowls again. This time it's on the leg side. He'll be unhappy with that. Hriday, he should have got that away, at least for a single. If he'd played it well, he might even have got a couple.
Yeah, Maharaj just looking to cramp him for room there, but you'd feel like the sweep would have been on.
Maharaj in again, bowls. Turns, leading edge. Didn't go up in the air, but he didn't know much about it. Maharaj, vastly experienced, aiming at leg and middle, turning it away. Oh yes, definite leading edge. Fortunately for Hriday, didn't go anywhere, but 3 dot balls already. And this time he's hit it, and he's hit it very, very well indeed. Dawud Hriday, take a bow. That was a terrific shot, and I tell you, against the turn, we haven't seen too many do this here at the Nassau County Cricket Ground. He's got the stadium on its feet. The green shirts are waving, the flag is up in the air, and Bangladesh have made a very, very important step forward with a massive 6 over mid-wicket.
Well, that's the way to get your 6 off the over, isn't it? Yes. Couple of dot balls, 3 dot balls in a row. So often you can see 3, 4 dot balls in a row, and then a big old swipe across the line, and you end up getting a wicket as a bowler, but not this time. Big old swipe across the line and get 6 runs for it.
And just at this moment, and Bangladesh would like to capture this screenshot irrespective of the result, they are now clearly ahead. 74 for 4. 1 run ahead of where South Africa were at this moment. Maharaj, how does he respond? I suspect he's going to float one up and ask him to play another big shot. Maharaj in. A little bit of air, slower through the air this time. Played on the onside. Markram is in tight. No chance of a run. But the Bangladeshi fans now, I think maybe just getting their hopes up a little bit up, hoping that something will happen that will take them closer to the target. Maharaj bowls. He waits on it. Very intelligently played by Hriday. He waited to that slower ball and made sure he connected decently enough to get it to deep point for a single. So another good over. 7 runs off it. 75 for 4. 14 gone. And Bangladesh are now 39 runs away from history. They've never beaten South Africa in a T20 international.
Well, either way, we're in for a thriller, aren't we? Whatever happens.
One would hope so. This World Cup may well get named the 2024 Men's ICC T20 Thriller Cup.
Low-scoring
thriller. So many low-scoring thrillers. Because there have been so many close finishes, so many upsets. And I think this over is going to be very crucial, because it's going to be Marco Jansen who will be bowling to Dawud Hriday, who's just hit that massive 6 of Maharaj, but Jansen will pose a slightly different problem. Here's Jansen in, and Hriday just about manages to defend that. Liam Plunkett alongside me again. It's turning out to be a thriller, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. Coming back to the seam, right? He's got one over left. He bowled nicely up top. So yeah, they need this wicket again. It's hard to get started. So breaking that partnership and get that new batsman out here, a bit like we said in the club cricket, where if you get one, you get two. It can often happen with on a wicket like this.
Absolutely right. As Jansen, quick word from his skipper there, who's fielding at mid-off. And but Ruther has played a good hand. He's a runner ball 24 here, and Jansen is in. Ruther defends. What I like is the fact that the Bangladeshi batters just at the moment aren't losing their heads. They're not panicking. They're not trying to think that they've got to get this quickly or try and hit big shots, which is exactly what went wrong with Pakistan yesterday. They tried to, I think, look for the glory shots, particularly the one that Rizwan got out to.
Yeah, with the target so small, the pressure's also on the bowlers.
Of course.
So as a batsman, as you said, the guys have played nicely. If it's a good ball, it seems like they're showing a full face, dropping it. It's not a single. Can they get off strike? And the boundaries will come, that bad ball, like the 6 from the previous over.
Jansen in ball. This one's down the leg side, and the umpire gets it right, signals wide. That also receives a cheer, almost like it was a 6. This crowd is really into it, and massive support for Bangladesh, as we've been saying to you since the morning.
Definitely, it's amazing. Watching Jansen bowl, he's looked at the front line a few times now, and he's dragged that ball short, down leg side plenty of times. I think he might be slipping, because even if his follow through is a lot shorter. So I don't know if he's just slipping on that front crease.
He's just looking to maybe stay within himself a little, not go full all out. Certainly doesn't want to bowl a no ball and provide a free hit. Here's Jansen in again, bowls full delivery, and he's driven it beautifully. He's gone for 4. What a shot that is! Shot of the day for me so far. Beautiful bowler's back drive. It raced away to the boundary opposite us, and that's 4 valuable runs for Bangladesh. 80 now for 4, with Hriday on 28.
You're right, he dug that out beautifully, hit the middle of the bat, and the ball went off like a rocket back down the ground.
And held his pose, and well he might, because it was a terrific shot. I'll tell you who would have been proud to see that. A certain Sunil Gavaskar would have loved it, because he used to play that shot just absolutely brilliantly.
Same as a bowler though, that's a scoring shot. There's not many on here. You're missing your length there. It's so hard to score from your pace off from a good length.
Jansen in. Hriday struck on the pad. The ball runs away behind square. They'll take a leg by. They don't mind how they come. 81 now for 4. You have to compliment South Africa. We've often seen a lot of wides and a lot of things happening with extras. They've been pretty disciplined. 3 wides, and all of them, I suspect, were from Jansen. And we might have missed 1 or 2 as well, the umpire.
Yeah, it's that extra bounce down leg side a little bit as well. I feel he is slipping a little bit, but he's also bowled nicely here. He bowled that bad ball there, but his figures are pretty good. Very good figures.
In fact, 2 balls to go in his spell in the 2 balls of the 15th over. 81 for 4. Here's Marco Jansen in. Pulls to Mahmudullah, plays it nicely. They'll take the first run. Are they going to look for the second? No. Good sense prevails. They decide not to take the risk. Another single to the total. 82 for 4. They can do it in singles if they want. 32 from 31. It's getting down to that place where you think a wicket for South Africa could change this. A couple more overs like this, and the pressure will turn back on the South Africans.
Absolutely. There's partnership as well. Mahmudullah is so experienced now. He's played for such a long time. He's going to run a ball, which is good on here. I feel like he's soaking that up, and hopefully he can obviously guide them home here.
Well, we said that when he came out. He's one of the more experienced players. Also had the opportunity to lead the side, so clearly one of the seniors in the team. And Hriday has played really well for his 28. Now what he has to do is make sure he doesn't throw it away. 5 men in the deep, as you'd expect at this stage of the innings. Marco Jansen, what's he going to bowl? Nicely played on the onside. Now this could be an opportunity for 2 if they decide to go all out. No, and just as well, because Marco Jansen needed 4 steps to get there. They've got to put restrictions on how tall you can be, I think. 15 overs have been bowled. The game's heading to another close finish. 83 for 4. I'm going to leave you with Liam Plunkett and taking over commentary. It's going to be Dan Norcross.
It's a great position here. Obviously, Nokia is coming on to bowl now. They need this breakthrough because this partnership is building nicely. They look very calm, collective. They're taking the game deep. Still 6 wickets in the tank. But yeah, obviously a strike bowler now, so he'd be looking to get a wicket.
It's one of those things, though, where before I came out here, 31 off 30 with 6 wickets in hand. I'd have gone, oh, it's a bit of a shame, a bit of a dismal finish. It's a bit one-sided. I've learned from, this is my 6th game now on this venue, that 31 from 30 with 6 wickets in hand is by no means a foregone conclusion. A wicket here, and Nortje is the man who can provide it. He's got many in this World Cup. He's got 2 today, and he's in. And that's pushed into the offside, just past the diving point. Ridoy's looking in really good touch here, and really nicely good working order. They'll get a single, 84 for 4. There's something compact about the way he's playing. I like it.
He seems to be watching that bounce, and the variable bounce, he's playing it nicely. He's playing the ball late here. Also Nortje as well. I know he's been performed really well, but he can go in games. Does the pressure get to him a little bit? But he can also bowl fast and pick up wickets on this wicket. Uneven bounce, so it's a big over, this one as well.
It does feel that way. It really does. As well as Otniel Bartman has bowled, it's asking quite a lot of the new guy, really. He's got 2 of the last 4 overs to bowl. Rabada will bowl 1. And you imagine Maharaj will have to bowl 1. That'll be interesting. Will they target it, or will they just think, right, we need a runner ball? It's so important for Bangladesh. They get over the line here. They've got 1 foot in the Super 8s. Nortje hurtles in. He's dabbed into the offside of the front foot. Again, nicely played by Mahmudullah. Takes the single. Now, Nortje on the surface in the first game he played against Ireland was actually quite fearsome. And we often talk about, you know, who's the most scariest fast bowler you've ever faced in the older guys, or say, you know, Colin Croft, Patrick Patterson, these kind of guys. But seldom are bowlers asked who were scared of bowling at. And I asked this question of Ian O'Brien, you may recall, the New Zealand and Middlesex fast medium bowler. And he was clearly so traumatised by a certain batter that he actually couldn't get the name out. It comes Nortje, he's dabbed away again, nicely angled down to deep third for a single at the moment. They're playing it, as my former colleague Jeffrey Boycott would say, with his sticker rhubarb. It's looking easy.
With Nortje now, it's like he's hitting his length, but running the ball it's still doing damage here. So do you try and mix it up now? Do you risk bowling a bouncer to take a wicket? Do you put in your slow balls? Or are you happy with going for 1 and over? Or maybe squeeze out a dot ball, but 5 and over is pretty good at this stage with this partnerships building. He's
got pace on him, 152 kilometres an hour, that last ball. It's about 93, 94 miles an hour. Nortje in. He's driven into the offside, but on the bounce. Mahmudullah doesn't get a run. Ridoy, I should say.
For the pace he's bowling, the batsmen have played him lovely.
Haven't they?
Yeah.
They look really, really comfortable. So I was going to ask you, because the end of that story is that Ian O'Brien couldn't say the name Virender Sehwag out loud. Because he was still shaking like a leaf at just the thought of that bandanaed genius. As Nortje comes in once more. It is Mahmudullah on strike. Mahmudullah evades a vicious bouncer that goes straight past his nose. How quick was that one? It won't look as quick on the speed gun because it's been bowled into the middle of the pitch. But 151 mile per hour, 151 kilometre an hour bouncer is a serious proposition. You do not want to be facing that.
You don't. Going back to your question, Chris Gale was one, but also playing county cricket in the Blast, I used to hate bowling to Alex Hales.
Alex Hales,
yeah, because he's so good at the short ball and he's got such a long reach. I struggle to bowl to him. I think he's a great player.
Last ball of Nortje's spell down the leg side, left to do it again. A wide is called. 87 for 4. The crowd erupts every run. They know how precious each one of these singles are. So Alex Hales, yes, I can see that.
Especially at Trent Bridge.
Yes, on a flat deck with a short boundary.
Especially that era, like obviously that era, the guys who are still playing now, but obviously your Jason Roy Bairstow and all these guys, Alex Hales that's some of the best players in the world in white ball cricket, and playing against them domestically, they definitely put you to the sword.
Can Nortje finish the over this time? He's in. Pushed to backward point. No run, they have survived Nortje. 4 overs, 2 for 17 for the Express Quick, and in that over he bowled 2 over 150 kilometres an hour, 148, another 148, so regularly over 90 miles an hour. That's now behind them, and they negotiated it really well. Where Ian was coming from, he sort of said to me that Sehwag made him doubt his ability just to be a bowler. That he'd bowl a ball that left his hand exactly as it was supposed to, landed exactly where it was supposed to, and would then disappear precisely where it wasn't supposed to.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes, Chris Gale's a bit like that for me. Yeah. It's so intimidating, not the fact, he could hit boundaries, but his sixes were 12s. So it always looked worse for you. Yeah, it always looked worse. So especially as a young cricketer coming playing international, and these guys are powerhouses and such big characters, often you'd be top of your mark and think, okay, if I get this wrong, this is going to go the distance. It kind of changed as I played a little bit more, I guess.
Yeah, as you get older, but you must feel really exposed when you're young, and because Chris Gale is larger than life in so many ways. He was here yesterday for India-Pakistan wearing the most extraordinary white jacket with green trim, and he was getting it signed by all the players.
Definitely a character. I think people, obviously, it's a huge character, but as a cricketer, he's one of the best ever white ball players, right? So you sometimes forget about that.
Start of a new over. It's Bartman, and his first ball is full, worked into the onside, just to the left of mid-wicket. They can amble through for that single. 88 for 4, 26 needed from 23. This partnership now worth 38. Doesn't sound like a lot in the context of this game, though it is, and it's 38 that has come in 38 balls, which is pretty much exactly what they needed when they started. 26 more needed off 23 balls for a big win for Bangladesh. Bartman is in. That goes fine. That's going to run away down to the boundary. Out! No! Given out! Well, it's hit the pad and he's instantly referred this. It went so fine, and this, I tell you, this could be one of my bugbears. If this is not out, they will not get the 4 runs.
Yeah, that is disappointing.
And this, I've got a solution to the problem for the ICC, if you're listening, and to all cricket around the world. But let's wait until we see what the referral is, because it's a very simple solution. And if they're denied 4 runs here,
that's massive, especially this time again.
Now, it could be that he's just out. Umpire gave the decision. He moved across his stumps, did Mahmudullah. It's Bartman again. Hartley's Bartman. Oh, it's going down, isn't it?
Looks like that.
I think that's going down. Well, first they're going to check to see if there's any bat in it. I don't think there's bat in it, but Mahmudullah was very keen to refer immediately. There's no bat, so we will go to ball tracking, but the impact is almost umpire's call here on the leg stump. It's going down the leg side. Here we go. Pitching in line. Missing. And now,
top ball.
I am going to tell you what drives me mad. If that had been the last ball of the World Cup final and they needed 2 to win, 3 to win, then it'd be all over. They wouldn't be able. The referral doesn't give you the 4 runs. The solution, my friend, is very simple. The umpire keeps his finger down till the ball's dead. End of story. Done. And now, I'm afraid Bangladesh have been denied 4 runs, and there was no way it was going to be cut off. Don't for one minute think that, they stopped trying to stop the ball. It went so fine. The finger went up about 3 meters before the ball hit the boundary sponge. Bartman is in and has worked away up towards long on. They'll get a single for it. 89 for 4, which should be 93 for 4. And I'm going to keep going on about this. If Bangladesh lose this game by a couple of runs, it'll be because of that. And it's not the ICC, it's all of cricket. When you have DRS, you can make that different playing condition.
Yeah. You can see what the batsman's doing, moving across. There's no mid-wicket. He's bowling full. I still think the hardest ball to hit is that back of the length and mix up pace, but then you can get the batsman trying to go across, and it's a difficult shot.
Bartman in, has thrashed into the offside, through extra cover. To the roars of the crowd, 4 more. Great shot from Ridoy, who has looked superb today. He's one of the few people who's really mastered this pitch with his technique, his timing, but especially just assessing the conditions so well. He moves to 36, 93 for 4, 21 needed from 20.
That's a cracking shot. He's back in his crease a little bit. As you said, he's played the ball so late. He's played it beautifully. He managed to get them singles, and he gets an over-pitch delivery like that with that field mid-off up and a huge gap. He put the ball away very nicely.
And long on his back, but there's 3 in the ring on the offside, which is mid-off, extra backward point, and there's a mid-wicket. Mid-wicket right on the edge of the circle. There's a long leg, a deep backward square leg, and there must be a deep point and a deep third, who's quite fine. Bartman into Ridoy again, who works us off his pads to that mid-wicket and they'll amble through for an easy single. 94 for 4, 20 needed from 19 balls. This is this is what I dubbed the group of death, because the Netherlands, who are a very fine associate side, beat South Africa in the last World Cup. Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and South Africa, 3 test-playing nations, and Nepal are far from the worst.
Yeah.
So a win here for Bangladesh, that would have mean they've beaten Sri Lanka and South Africa, gets them so close to the Super 8. Bartman is in. Mamadullah defends, back to the bowler. There's no run. End of the over. There were 7 from it. Should have been 11. 94 for 4. Ridoy 37. Mamadullah 16. 3 overs to go. 20 needed off 18. It's not a foregone conclusion, folks. Anything can happen. We saw it yesterday when Pakistan got all clogged up. But this is something else, isn't it? I mean, we had the attendance come through. 22,000, I think.
Yeah, that's great. So yesterday was a different level, full capacity, but it's a Monday. A lot of people probably would have took off work to be here, which shows amazing support. As you said, looking from the comms box here, the crowd does look full. It's great to see people come out and support both teams, mainly Bangladesh, the majority here.
But that's the thing. You see, we got a sellout yesterday, but India, Pakistan is the biggest game in world cricket. I don't think anyone would say Bangladesh, South Africa is the biggest game in world cricket, and yet the noise that's being made, the atmosphere here,
it shows you the appetite for people just coming to watch, doesn't it?
Rabada's in for his last over. First ball is worked off the pads at the onside and given out. Well, it's like, indeed, Liam Plunkett says hi. I think hi. He moved across his stumps. Did Ridoy, worked it into the onside, but didn't feel out at all to me. It just, you know, in real time, where you just think that's a single. The umpire disagreed. Bangladesh going to survive on referral again. They gave a huge cheer the last time. Right, here we go. This is our first look at it. Rabada. It's quite a fair bit back of a length, and it's hit above the knee roll, but it does go down. So it's going to be tight, but I think it's also a bit leg-sidey for me.
Maybe clipping.
Maybe clipping. He might just get lucky here, Rabada. I say lucky. I mean the stumps are all there to be hit, every bit of it. And he is quite deep in his crease. He's quite deep in his crease. There's no edge on that. The spike is when the ball hits the pad, not the bat, I think, from what we can see on our monitor, which isn't the easiest, but Riddle is waiting somewhat nervously here.
It's difficult to see. The sun's glaring on the screen. It's hard to pick it out, right?
It's very difficult. We kind of to fly slightly behind. Here we go. Ball tracking. Impact in line. Wicket. Umpire's call. It is clipping. Umpire Liam Plunkett spot on. And a fair chunk of the ball, in fairness. You know, that's a fair bit of leg stump. And
great decision. Outstanding decision, right?
You'd like that. You'd like an umpire like that, wouldn't you? Ridoy goes, though. It was a super knock. 37 from 34. He's done his team proud there, and he's got them up to the brink, but now a new batter comes out at 94 for 5, and it will not be easy against Kagiso Rabada, who's picked up his second wicket. 20 needed from 17.
I think that was an excellent knock. I think he should have you play on this wicket. He played it so late. He'd love to have gone on win the game for Bangladesh, but I think that was a great innings.
I mean, it looked classical and elegant as well. A lot of the people who've thrived, Rishabh Pant, for example, we saw a 40 odd in one game. I don't think anyone's got to 50 yet. The whole time.
No.
I think 40 odd is the best, and mostly it's been some big old whacks. I mean, David Miller towards the back end of his innings picking up a couple of flat sixes, but
I think he picked a 50 up, David Miller.
Did he just? Yes, yeah. I think you're right to win the game. But Ridoy was a different kind of innings completely.
Textbook, full face of the bat.
Exactly. Xhaka, the ball slipped out of Rabada's hands. Dead ball is signalled just as he was coming to his delivery stride. It slipped out of his left hand, I think, and dribbled along the ground. So the new batter is, what is it? It's spelled Xhaka Ali Anik, but I heard his captain call him Zaka, and I'm looking to Prakash for hope. He's not sure. Rabada in. Forward comes Xhaka Ali. Fielded it back to a point. No run. It's a big moment for him.
This is the squeeze, right? This is the new batsman. Hasn't got the pace of the pitch. Can you squeeze a few dot balls?
Well, this is the thing. You see, if there's just one or two more from this over, it's nearly tens in the last two, and Suddenly that's actually quite difficult on this. With Bartman the way he's bowling, then the Maharaj over becomes key, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
What do they do with it? Do they attack it?
I think you have to, right?
I would. Hard in mouth stuff though. Rabada into Jacarani, pushes into the offside. It's another dot ball. 20 off 15 now. What was a runner ball is now 8 and over. 3 more dot balls, it's 10 and over.
It's really good bowling from Rabada, hitting that pitch really hard. It's so hard to get away with that. The batsmen have been going across trying to flick that to leg side, but with it not coming on, it's quite difficult to time it for that single.
Rabada at the top of his mark. It's quite an economical run that he has, Rabada. It's not a really lengthy one. He's in. Jacker drives, flicks to mid on. There's another dot ball. They think of a run that's not there. Oh, you can tell something's brewing here.
Yeah, it feels like that, yeah, definitely. That rate's just creeping.
20 off 14, and this man's heart's going to be going 10 to the dozen here, because he's walked out to bat. This big crowd expectant, and he's now none off 3. The back end of the innings. Palms will be sweaty. He's now composing himself. He's actually pointing at the fielders. Right, I've got a long leg, I've got a deep square leg. He's making clear to himself and everyone. He knows where everyone is. Rabada in, drives it to the offside, sets off for the run. Will get home. There's a throw into the striker's end, 95 for 5.
I don't think South Africa will mind that single. I think they don't mind it.
Well, Mamadullah's got to get one here, hasn't he, really? Because Jacarani's then got to go hard at Maharaj, just arrived at the crease.
That's going to be a fascinating over. As you said, I think they'll probably take him down second over from the last. And then you finish in with Bartman.
Yeah. I'm imagining they're going to do it that way, not do Bartman for the 19th.
No,
Would they do? They wouldn't do that, would they? Just see what you leave Maharaj, if you leave him 14 or something.
I would. I'm not a captain, but I definitely wouldn't do that.
No, doesn't feel right. Rabada in to complete his spell. Worked into the onside. Of straight, really, up to mid-on. He's thinking of a second. He shouldn't be. He should just be happy to be at the other end, Mamadullah. He's made it back. And now they're going to get an overthrow for a needless direct hit from Norkia. A stump appears to be removed from the ground for, again, no reason I can gather. And at the end of all of that, Bangladesh need 18 from 12. That's a great over from Rabada. Just the 2 from it and the wicket, big wicket of Tarid Ridoy. And now this is going down to the wire again, isn't it?
You can see on this wicket how Rabada's clawed that back there. He went for 2 boundaries early on in his first over, and he's gone for 19. Ball beautiful. Not trying to do anything too difficult. Hit the pitch hard, the odd bouncer, maybe the odd slow ball. Stick to a clear game plan, and he's finished with another good spell.
You just don't need to do anything other than those basics, do you? There must be some pitches that the really good ones where you're constantly thinking about your plans, your switch ups, your cutters, slower balls. The slow bouncer that seemed to be invented by Ryan Sidebottom in the 2010
World Cup, yeah.
Were you in that squad? Or
I wasn't. No, I wasn't. I was like you guys watching it with delight. It was amazing.
It's Bartman.
There we go. That's why I'm not a captain.
Well, or maybe we'll find out that you should have been. We'll see how it goes. It's going to be Bartman, not Maharaj. They're leaving Maharaj to the 20th. Bartman is in to Mamadullah. Mamadullah comes down the wicket, swings and misses through to the keeper. Okay, so what do Bangladesh need here? 6. They're 12 to get off Maharaj.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah. So really, it's get bat on ball here, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see where the boundary fielders are. Long on, long off. Deep mid wicket, deep square leg, deep point.
So he's going. Would you risk? Is he going to risk a ramp? Because he's going full, right? Is he?
Yeah, fine leg and third are up, of course. Bartman is in. It's worked into the onside. He's run 1. I don't think they're going to get back for 2. No, Bartman was eagerly fielding off his own bowling, then slides on this outfield, which makes everyone a little nervous.
Yeah, give me the Simon Jones memories right there.
No.
Sand.
Well, it is a bit like it reminded all of us of Dharamshala during the World Cup, and that sort of got sorted out by the time the test came about. But there were great clods of earth coming up in those games during the 50 over World Cup, and this is a bit like that. And putting in the slide is perilous, but run has been scored. 17 from 10 brings the new batter Jacarani onto strike.
It's turned out to be another great game.
No, it's been great. We are blessed. Now then, what's going on here? Long on Marco Janssen is staying back. Mid-off is coming up. We're going to have 4 in the ring on the offside from mid-off round to short third, who's very fine, Henrik Nokia. And Rabada is going down to long leg, or fine leg really, as Jakarali is in. He's facing Barman. He goes to a big old heave-ho. Gets one now. They might get 2 this time. They're going to scamper back and they're going to get there. 15 needed off 9. It wasn't a clean connection by any means, but the danger of this field is there's nobody saving one on the onside. Nobody, not even short fine anymore. So the bowler has got to do all the fielding, or one of these characters out there can come in from deep mid-wicket. I think you can afford...
I would deep mid-wicket, potentially. Still a difficult shot to...
Here we go, Bartman in once more. The crouching Jakarali goes for a big mow, and he'll only get the single. He's hit it too well. He could have done with the dab and goes. There's a 2 on here and the onside every time, and frankly, if they got 2 2s here and left themselves 10 off Maharaj, that might be the way to go.
Going to go down with one more ball. It's got to be a free hit. The batter facing has got to swing.
Yeah.
Why not? Especially if it's Jacka.
Jacka, yeah. You'd think so. Long off his back, fine legs now come up. It's changed every ball at the moment. 3 in the ring on the offside. Rabada back inside the ring at short fine. Bartman is in. Mamadullah flicks this away, but straight to Rabada, who thinks about throwing and decides not to. Doesn't want to risk any overthrows at this stage. 13 off 7 needed.
This is the one he has to try and clear the fence here.
He's just got carte blanche, hasn't he?
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what happens, because he's got the right man on strike. I mean, I'm assuming Mamadullah's the one you want on strike for the last over. 100 up, I barely noticed that happening. 101 for 5, so 10 more kits for grassroots cricket.
So into the pads, into his feet.
Barman in. No, it's into an arc really. Now they could get 2 here. Come back. They're going to run back for it. They are.
A miss hit for 2.
That's
either that or a masterful shot.
It's sort of, I mean, perfect was 6, but that's an outcome they don't mind. 11 needed off the last over, 10 for the super over. Do not discount the super over. We've seen some of them in this World Cup. We haven't got one, but we've seen 2 super overs already. One involving Oman and Namibia, one involving Pakistan and Canada. So here we go, last over, Keshav Maharaj to bowl it. And this is the point at which we discover whether Liam Plunkett was the best captain England never had. When Keshav Maharaj goes for 6-4 and it's all over.
Game over, yeah.
Or this is some kind of master stroke from Aidan Markram. It's a big key moment in this match, in this World Cup. If Bangladesh lose this game, there's a lot of sides in this group will rejoice. The Netherlands will rejoice. Sri Lanka will believe they're still in with a chance. Nepal will. If Bangladesh win it, then there's 2 sides just creeping out of view in this group.
This will be the first time Maharaj has bowled the last over in a T20.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Did you get that from Hartley?
I did.
She's good at this, you know.
Stato, thank you very much.
She loves her numbers, you know. People think that she's just mad as a box of frogs, but actually she likes her
some good stuff comes out of the box of frogs.
Right? Oh, a lot of good stuff comes out of that box of frogs.
ঘোষণা অনুযায়ী 30 জুন পার্লামেন্টের নিম্নকক্ষের ভোট গ্রহণ অনুষ্ঠিত হবে। দ্বিতীয় ধাপের ভোটের জন্য দিন ধার্য করা হয়েছে আগামী 7 জুলাই। ইউরোপীয় পার্লামেন্টের সদস্য 21টি দেশে ভোট গ্রহণ অনুষ্ঠিত হয় রবিবার।
Off the last over, the crowd giving such joyous delight for that wide, and you know what it should be, by the way, it should be 6 needed.
It should be
because of the 4.
Should be
4 down here.
I agree.
Maharaj in, gives himself room, Mamadullah, and he gets a thick inside edge. Squirts to short fine, just the single. 9 from 5. Jakarali on strike. Hartley's come to join us. It's good, isn't it?
Just keep providing the stats.
Yeah, I like this. She's like Andy Zaltzman in so many ways. Here comes Maharaj. Full toss. Hammered back past him down the ground. There'll only be 1. I think we said they come back for the second. This should be tight and should be out. And he's dropped the ball. Keshav Maharaj has dropped the ball. The throw wasn't bad. It was pretty much over the stumps.
think it was that he just stopped in that sort of sandy outfield. It doesn't carry on through. So he didn't manage to gather it, but that was definitely a run-out chance. Scampered for 2.
Well, Mahmudullah would have been out by a long distance. We see the replay, he's not in the frame and drops the ball. How important could that be? 7 now needed from 4. So whatever happens, unless Bangladesh win it in the next 3 balls, Bangladesh will still be in the game off the last ball.
Yeah.
That's one way to look at it. Just 7 off 1, you can still tie with the 6, can't you? So Maharaj into Jakar Ali, comes down the wicket, hits it high, over long. Oh no, he's gone. He's caught at long on. It's Aiden Markram, the skipper, with the safe hands. He didn't quite get the elevation. It flew down to the fielder and he takes it comfortably, and it's now 7 off 3 with a new batter coming out. Oh my goodness me.
He actually got to the ball really well there. That shot was there, and definitely not going to one of the safest hands going around international cricket. It was an easy pouch for him.
Well, now what happens? You bring in a new batter. Rishad bowled well today, his leg spin, especially his last over. Does he go for the single here to leave Mahmudullah on strike, or does he just swing? Do you just swing in this situation?
I think you've got to get off strike.
Yeah?
Yeah, because if it's a swing and a miss and a dot ball...
Disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I guess even if you get 2 singles here, which wouldn't be ideal, you can still tie with a 4. But I mean, where you're getting a 4 from, I don't quite know. The outfield's not fast enough to get 4s off the spinners, are they? Really, you've got to...
6-0-1.
It feels like it, doesn't it? Fine leg up, 3rd up, point, extra cover, all on the edge of the ring, of the circle. Rishad goes for a big swing. He's struck on the pad. Umpire says no. Keshav Maharaj instantly makes the T sign to his skipper Aiden Markram.
Was there
who says
a
yes.
nick on that?
Well, we'll see.
A bit of bat on that?
We shall see, surely. It was a huge heave.
He wasn't going for the single, that's for sure.
It's a big moment in the game. If this is out, number 9 comes out with 7 needed from 2 and 6 for the super over. If it's 6 needed from 2 with Mahmudullah on strike, this can make a big difference. My instant feeling was it felt quite out, but let's see. He's got a long way across. That might save him. It struck, I don't know, I think he struck outside the line. At the very best umpire's call for Keshav Maharaj here. He jumped a long way outside off stump, then he looked to whack it over deep mid-wicket, which is a very big hit. We're seeing ultra edge first. Can't see where the ball is in relation to the bat. It's not on the bat.
Just outside the line, I think.
I think so.
Definitely didn't hit it, which was my first shout. I think he was...
Well, South Africans will move back into position. Impact outside. A run. 6 needed off 2. Mahmudullah on strike. Are we going to get a classic World Cup moment? 6 to win it. Mahmudullah's a man who can do it. But Keshav Maharaj has bowled really well so far this over. See it a wide, a 1 and a 2. Actually, is it? Yes, it is 6 off 2. That's right. Got to get our numbers right here. And now there's a conflab. There's bound to be between the cock and the bowler. A bit like you might get with the catcher and the pitcher in baseball. Just a few mutterings behind gloves. A plan is being hatched.
That's the only thing, you can't go to the bullpen and get someone else out to finish off either. So
no.
As you said, he's bowling beautifully this last over. So
up and over extra cover perhaps, or just a big old swing. Oh, it's gone hard. It's not good enough. Markram takes the catch. He takes the catch about 6 inches inside the sponge. It's a full toss that's been hit down the throat, and Markram takes his 2nd catch of the over. And now Bangladesh are on the very brink. They need 6 off 1.
I don't think he could have asked for a better ball to hit that for 6 there. He's tried to absolutely moose that out the ground and obviously didn't get a full piece of it, and same again, safe hands.
I mean, that's not the pitch, and it's quite a short straight boundary. Not super short, but it's short-ish. So, you know, that's just a ball bowled anywhere.
Yeah, correct.
It's a full toss, and Mahmudullah has messed it up. Oh, dear me. So Bangladesh, it's happening again. A side needs to run a ball with 6 wickets in hand, and they can't get over the line. Or can they? because there is 1 ball remaining. There is 6 to win. You see the replay of Markram just takes it so easily. And about 6 inches, a foot, perhaps a foot inside the sponge. He just needed a touch more, and that would have been the game. That would probably be qualification for Bangladesh. Instead, if they lose this game, it brings all the other sides back into it in this group.
It's amazing batting at the end there. You don't really expect a low full toss off a spinner. He's probably thinking, I want to get down and hit that cow like a sweep, or
get underneath it to do off the bounce,
or hit it with a bounce. You don't expect it to be that full, and maybe it just sort of surprised him, and obviously you try to play the shot and didn't get the full power behind that.
Taskin Ahmed. This is the task in hand for Taskin.
I like it. Why not? This could be such a massive ball in World Cup cricket for Bangladesh. If we do this, it's going to go down in the highlight reels, that's for sure. Hit this for 6.
He needs 6 off the last ball. 3 in the ring on the offside. Short fine leg, fielder's out as you'd expect it. Long on and long off for deep mid-wicket, deep square leg. Here comes Maharaj for the last ball of the match. Taskin's got a full toss, and he doesn't get hold of it. It just squirts outside the ring. Run 2, think of net run rate, they're not bothered. And that means that South Africa have won this game, I don't know how, by 4 runs, just 4 runs. Bangladesh couldn't chase down 114. Just as Pakistan couldn't chase down 120 yesterday, the South Africans in cock a hoop, they have won 3 from 3. They're going to go sailing through to the Super 8s. Bangladesh are going to be dragged back into the pack, and they're going to have to do this work all over again. South Africa win by 4 runs. Extraordinary scenes.
Absolutely, as you said, it's not highlight package in terms of 6s and 4s, but it's providing some really entertaining cricket. To see South Africa keep the nerve there, Maharaj finish it off. I don't think the last 2 balls were actually perfect. He bowled 2 full tosses that probably should have went. Miss hits, congratulations to South Africa. Obviously a good team, and they're hoping this year they can go all the way.
6 runs off that over.
We should have had a super over, Dan.
We should have had a super.
4, we'd have had a super over. You know the 4 byes?
Well, my 4-leg byes.
Yeah, your 4-leg byes would have had a super over.
I'm outraged. Someone have a word.
I can't deal with any more super overs.
Really, Alex Hartley, what a game of cricket that was. I'm as breathless and as excited as I would be if I was watching 200 v 200. That was just superb.
Well, they said bring cricket to America and it would change it. Well, it's definitely changed the way batters are going to have to play, hasn't it? Because the wicket's not great, we know that, but it's not great for both sides. And actually it's gone. The other day, first day we were here, we thought it was going to be like dangerous, and it's gone past that. You know, it's absolutely fine. They've killed the wicket, they've taken all the grass off, and it's just tough for both sides to bat on. And every game we've had, it's been a low-scoring thriller.
How lucky was Keshav Maharaj though in those last 2 balls with 6 needed to win?
Some would say as a left-arm spinner, he's done it on purpose.
You left-arm spinners, you think these things,
these
don't
low
you?
full tosses.
Well, you used to say that 33% of full tosses take wickets.
They do, and he only got 2 of them, didn't he? All man used to go for 6. No, he's not bowled it on purpose, as he's trying to go black hole. And I actually rate the fact that they've gone spinner at the death. He can just take the pace off. You know, we've seen Adil Rashid for England bowling at 40 miles an hour in this World Cup, like taking all the pace off. So with these big boundaries, yes, it's shorter straight. You can either take pace off and go back of a length, or you've got to go full and block hole, and that's what he was trying to do.
It's the craziest thing, cricket, that until 90 seconds ago, there were about 21,000 people on the edge of their seats, fervid with excitement, screaming and shouting. They've probably not got their voices left. They've been at it all day. Last ball gets bowled, and you go, okay, time to go home. And everybody just disappears. It's surreal. It's been a surreal atmosphere today. Really brilliant game. But Liam Plunkett, how damaging a defeat is that for Bangladesh? I mean, obviously they're still well in the competition, but they could sniff the chance if you win here and then you beat Nepal or the Netherlands, you're through.
Yeah, I mean, looking at they potentially could have won today. When you look at the fixtures, they're probably saying that's a really tough game for us, and then maybe let's try and get a win, but potentially it's going to be really tough. But can we win the games against the lower ranking teams? But yeah, as you said, you're so close to that, and that'd be a huge win, and also a massive boost for the team to say we can beat some of the best teams in the world.
For Pakistan-Canada that's coming up tomorrow, I just think it brings Canada right back back into it.
Oh, it does,
demoralised Pakistan.
Oh yeah, I mean
Canada on a bit of a high.
We saw
it's not Pakistan, Canada. They've already done that. It's whoever it is. But
it's Pakistan, Canada.
Yeah, it is Pakistan.
Yeah.
You're right, Pakistan, Canada.
Yeah.
That's right.
You've now confused me.
No, I've confused myself because they lost to the USA. Yeah. So Pakistan could end up doing the double and losing to both North American teams.
The way their heads were down yesterday, Nassim Shah was in tears after the game when he didn't manage to hit 2 sixes, hit a 4, and that was it. He was in tears, and we saw a couple of their coaches yesterday actually out in the streets on Long Island, and they weren't happy, were they? They were just like, oh, not again. Like, it's happening again. And I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes in Pakistan, but it does open it up right up for tomorrow, doesn't it, as we've seen today?
I mean, for the competition, I know it sounds a strange thing to say, but South Africa winning probably keeps more games open in this group. So we can have more thrills and spills. It also means that Sri Lanka aren't actually out of it. They can think, if we win 2, then we can get there, provided, say, the Netherlands were to beat Bangladesh, and then Sri Lanka beat the Netherlands. It's permutations galore, but I'm not going to take you through all of them because my brain will start to melt, and you will also get very bored listening.
I already am.
But all right, that's it. I'll just flounce off. Enough. But it does keep the competition going. It is good for that. But let's think about South Africa, because they've defended 113. I know these are special circumstances. 113 probably means 160.
Time to have a chat to the ICC T20 World Cup player of the match. He's standing alongside the ICC CEO, Jeff Allardyce. Jeff, nice to have you here. Please hand over that award to Henrik Klaasen for his 46 off 44, 2 4s and 3 6s. Before we go any further, Henrik, and talk about your performance, I mean, how was that finish, mate?
Yeah, it was not so nice on the heart, but it's good that the boys get it over the line.
Now, your performance was very important. Your partnership, of course, was very important with David Miller of 79. But tell me more about your batting. It wasn't the easiest of conditions.
No, the wicket is not too great to have stroke play on it. But David showed us the previous game how to bat on this wicket. We got some good information from him, and we applied it nicely today and got a decent score. I thought we were about 10 runs short.
How difficult is it for you as a power hitter, and we know the way you can dominate a game, to adapt to those sort of conditions?
Yeah, luckily we've got experience in the change room. We had more or less of a one-day mindset just to get us to that 15 over mark, and hopefully we could have pushed on, but unfortunately that didn't happen.
They say the good teams win the close games. This will boost the change room.
Yeah, it will be good confidence for the boys. We had 3 pressurised games now, so luckily I think we're through, which is nice. One more to go in the stage, and then hopefully we can go to the next one.
Okay, terrific. Player of the match, Henrik Klaasen. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
He top scored today, but I don't think that he necessarily, Henrik Klaasen, played the best innings. For me, did, and he impressed you too, Liam Plunkett.
Yeah, he played really nicely. He looked like he was playing really late, especially when some of the guys were bowling really quick there, and he was just waiting for the ball to come on, finding the gap, also obviously hitting the odd boundary. Running a ball was actually a good effort on here.
Turning point was his dismissal, I felt, because that partnership was going really nicely. It was very unflustered with Mahmudullah, and it sort of mirrored the partnership we saw earlier with David Miller and Klaasen. Whenever new batters came in on this pitch, it just looked really, really difficult, didn't it?
I mean, it's crazy that we're talking about the fact South Africa have just defended 113.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's ludicrous, isn't it?
It is, but it's happened yesterday, it's happened today. 77 played 80, a couple of days ago. No wonder Klaasen wasn't smiling too much in his post-match interview. He's not a very happy chap, even though they've got through.
I'm pretty sure they have got through. Nepal could win their last 3 games, but that would mean that South Africa would go through. And looking at this, I think Bangladesh played the Netherlands, so there isn't another side that can get 6 points in that group. So they will be very happy with that, and so will the other teams in that group, of course. Now, we've had a magnificent day. You can see the highlights on the BBC iPlayer. You can catch every ball of every game of this World Cup, this men's T20 World Cup, across the BBC Sport website and app, and 5 Sports Extra, and the Listen app, and ABC, and of course the ICC website. We've got all of our podcasts, we've got No Balls, we've got Tailenders, we've got Stumped, we've got the lot, and we've got more matches coming up for you tomorrow. We'll be back for the first game of the day. It's the same team, isn't it? It's us 4, Fab 4.
Yeah, I'm coming back. I'm not going anywhere.
Who wants to be Paul McCartney?
Who?
Fab 4, yeah.
Well, anyway,
I'm joking. I know who Paul McCartney is before anyone.
Yeah, don't
absolutely,
tweet.
Yeah.
Don't tweet. Yes, the four of us will be back tomorrow for Pakistan against Canada. Pakistan have their hopes are slender, but actually if they win both their games, the mathematics of that group might allow them to go through on net run rate. They've still got a reasonable chance. After that, down in Lauderhill, we're going to get our first sight. That's Florida. We're going to get a first sight of how that pitch is playing, where Sri Lanka, rejuvenated after today's loss by Bangladesh, play Nepal. They could suddenly get up into the mix. And then that game, by the way, starts at 12:30 at night, the Sri Lanka-Nepal game. The Australia-Namibia game then takes place at 1:30 at night. And we will be having Sri Lanka-Nepal for the first hour, and then we will move. That's very sad. We're going to move Sri Lanka-Nepal online. You can still keep listening to it if you want to. You can go online and listen to it. But 5 Sports Extra will then take over Australia versus Namibia. That's in England's group. That's taking place in Antigua with Henry Moran, Stephen Finn and the gang. We're back on air at 3:30 p.m. UK time for Pakistan v Canada. Be fascinated to see. Are we going to get the same sort of crowd? Will the Pakistanis be here in their droves as the Bangladeshis were today? Will they leave with the same disappointment, or will they get redemption after yesterday's loss? It's going to be a thriller. Be sure to join us. From Liam Plunkett, Alex Harley, Prakash Wakanka, myself Daniel Norcross, and from our splendid producer David Batchelor, it's goodbye.
Gonna miss him.
Yeah, we all are.
You're listening to the ICC Men's T20 World Cup. TV Radio 5 Sports Extra brings you more live commentary from the world's greatest sporting events. As 5 Live broadcasts one event, BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra brings you something equally important. On top of the coverage you can already hear on 5 Live.
Since the dawn of time, humankind has sought to compete, to achieve.